Well, these are the guys I'm bringing in for the Tower Heist podcast, Evan. Guys, this is Evan. He's going to be helping us out on this job, and yeah, so let's do it. Let's get to work.
Are you kidding me, Nabil? These guys ain't got what it takes to be on Filmatic. I can look in their eyes and see it. First sign of a giveaway and they're gonna be shitting in their pants. You want me to prove it? Alright, listen up. Y'all got 15 minutes to go out there and get me something in your room. Each one of y'all go out there and steal me $25 worth of shit that nobody wants. Come back and show it to me on the Zencaster. Then we'll talk.
All right, guys, come on. We can do this. $25. Come on. We got useless shit in our room. We can do it. Come on. We got this. Come on, for the Tower Heist podcast. Let's do it.
15 minutes. Well, look who we have here. Well, show me what you got.
I can go, I guess.
Oh my god. That is foul. All the way down? What even is it?
Among Us
What?
hoodie.
That's my boy.
Among Us hoodie.
Fair enough. Next.
I got a sorry board game.
Sorry, board game? Really?
Yeah.
That's like, what, worth $12 or something? You can get that anywhere. Any Toy Story.
Mike Wazowski figurine.
What? Wait, hold up. Let me see that again. What was that?
It's on a Mike Wazowski figurine, 2008 collectible. It's on a beanbag chair.
Let's go.
Shit.
Combined value. I like
Did you
that.
get that at, like, bowling alley or something?
No, I stole it from an arcade machine.
Oh,
Oh
man.
my god.
That's real stuff right there.
For
Well,
my turn of useless things that no one wants, I picked up the Suicide Squad Blu Ray from my room. Tower Heist. Can I cut the title? Yes, guys. Yes, guys. In terms of useless things that you might want, the Suicide Squad Blu-ray DVD is still up for grabs. Guys, go ahead. All you gotta do, like the Instagram post, share it to your story, or comment. I'll take either one now. All right. Great DVD. It's still going, guys. Please, we gotta get this out before the end of the season. All
So,
right.
just to
Yeah.
clarify, we haven't gotten a single person to comment.
No, well, actually, funny enough, someone did comment,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't comment. I don't know if you heard the last episode, but we were talking about the Will Smith slap,
Yes. Okay.
Manny and Darian, and
Mhm.
we changed it at the beginning of that episode, where all they had to comment was Batman or Superman. Don't ask me; it's a long story. All they had to comment was Batman or Superman,
Okay.
and we got one comment, but they didn't comment that. They commented something entirely different, which is disappointing.
Good.
But anyway, Suicide Squad DVD. So get on
Do
that,
we know?
guys. Yeah,
Who the person was that commented?
it was Manny's girlfriend.
Manny has a girlfriend?
He
I
did,
know.
but in
Okay.
the podcast, didn't he like say? Well, maybe it was somebody else. He was going to get someone to comment to like essentially give them the DVD.
Yeah, no, he was like, yeah, I got people like basically saying that he was gonna get people to listen to it personally. And
Why couldn't
yeah,
he just tell her to comment Batman
that's
or
what I'm
Superman?
saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, I got 3 separate people to watch this podcast, not the Batman podcast specifically, and not a single one of them commented to win a free fucking DVD. You're hearing this now. Fuck you, alright?
I'll be honest.
Don't listen
That
to
won't-
this one, alright? We don't want you to.
All right, no. Yeah.
No, they're going to want to stay. We got some interesting conversation topics, including certain events that took place in 2001. We
Hey, my listen, it's
Yeah, I was born.
Me too,
Yeah.
actually.
yeah, it's crazy.
And
Your
then
birthday
10
coming out
later. Think about
Advertised just around the corner,
2011,
huh?
man. Some
And,
crazy
of course,
stuff happened in
And
2011.
10 years later, Tower Heist was released to the
Oh
public.
my gosh.
Yes, guys.
You know,
So
I
make
remember going to the AMC and seeing that poster, you know, up
I
them up on
remember
top of the
Murphy,
tower.
Stiller. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
2011,
Roger.
I never watched it.
and
And what?
Here's what I'm gonna say. At one point, Nabil made it clear that even people who have been on the podcast could win the Suicide Squad DVD.
oh, that's so true, actually.
No. I haven't claimed it. I'll
You
be
have to
honest,
go
feels-
listen.
It feels
Yeah.
wrong, all right. It feels wrong.
It also feels
That's
like
not right.
I personally don't use Blu-ray.
I also,
Would
yeah, I don't.
Well,
own
I've
it.
also
literally
specified that
be-
it also comes with a DVD. Like it's 2 discs. It's
Fair,
Blu-ray and
fair.
Does it come with
Yeah.
a digital download?
no.
Oh, come on. Doesn't have
Fuck.
ultraviolet code. Yo, speaking of which, Evan and I have an insane ultraviolet library going on right now.
True.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Come on now.
That's sad.
So, Alan Alda.
Okay. Yeah. Let's jump into it, guys. As we stated, this episode, as you can tell by the title and the wonderful promo written by Casey that we just performed, this is going to be about Tower Heist, 2011 heist comedy film directed by. I'm not going to do the joke. Brett Ratner. Was problematic, of course, and we'll talk about that. And
we'll get into the deep, gritty details.
No, we will not. We will not. But it's also, of course, starring an all-star cast: Stiller, Murphy, Broderick, Affleck,
Oh yeah.
Tia Leone
Tia Leone, yeah,
from Jurassic Park 3.
Michael Pena, yes.
True.
Yeah, and this was. We all have very mixed thoughts about it. I'm excited to have the conversation, and yeah. So let's just jump right into it. I think the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that this movie, although it came out in 2011, came from an idea from Eddie Murphy as early as 2005, and back then, Murphy pitched it as an all-black cast of comedians who work at Trump Tower, and they were going to rob it, and kind of styled after Ocean's 11, and Eddie Murphy brought that idea to Brett Ratner, and it was kind of in a production, I guess, hell, so to speak, from 2005 to 2011, where it eventually evolved, of course, from that idea into what we got, and yeah, but I mean, even though in the movie it's of course the tower and not Trump Tower, a majority of the practical shots were filmed at Trump Tower. And I actually saw some behind the scenes footage, I'm not making this up, of Donald Trump on set, and I was telling this to
Can we
everyone.
play that clip, Nabil?
Yeah, I'm playing it right now.
He loves the women. He loves the women. That's fantastic.
Let me just say
It's going to be a great hit.
Alright.
And as you heard in that hilarious clip, the audio, so this is from Brett Ratner's quote. The title of the video is Brett Ratner's personal video diary. Okay, it's just a 20-minute video of different footage behind the scenes. And what's funny is the first 3 minutes is muted for some reason. I don't know if it's copyright. I don't know what it is, but it's muted, intentionally or unintentionally. And the footage starts of Trump on set next to Brett Ratner, watching in the editing bay the movie, and the audio cuts in, and all you hear Trump saying is, "And this guy, he loves the women."
No way.
I am not making this up. I am not making this up.
That's
I'll have to,
insane.
I wish I had shown you guys before this actually, but the viewers saw that right then. And anyway, there's a lot of crazy shit, I feel like, in terms of the development of this movie that we can talk about. But yeah, do you guys just wanna jump right into it, or you wanna? Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm kind of ready.
Let's do it.
I think we should just
Alright.
go through it.
Let's start with this, Justin. What's your 1 minute pitch to someone who hasn't seen Tower Heist you would give to tell them about what this movie's about and if they should see it?
Okay.
Sorry to call you out. I'm trying something new.
This is a bit of a homework assignment.
Just improv it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie to you. This is no Ocean's 11, but
That's fair.
if you want a little bit of a fun, lighthearted movie about Ben Stiller and a group
Ben
of
Stiller.
it's about Ben
It's a
Stiller.
biopic, actually.
Yeah, you know what? Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy, a couple of guys being dudes just hanging out, committing heist. And you know what? Let's just say things get unexpected. It doesn't go as you might expect.
But not too unexpected.
Not too
It
unexpected.
gets a little zany.
Yeah.
There's a car involved.
There's also a
just
truck involved. Perhaps it's stolen.
Stolen.
Snoopy is involved.
Snoopy.
Okay. Alright, we'll go
Sources
on.
have told me that Snoopy does appear in the movie.
We'll get into it, but thank you for that, Justin.
Yeah.
Could I? Sorry, this is slightly off topic, but I've heard about this movie so much before watching it because I feel like it's been a filmatic joke at times. Is there a story behind that, or?
I feel like it's just been mentioned so many times because I feel like it lands in this weird gray area of movies whenever we do those freestyles. We're talking about anything and everything, and I guess I just have a personal connection to it because and I was telling this to Justin it was one of the first movies that my parents bought on iTunes. So when I got my first iPod and of course I wasn't allowed to make my own account. I had to sign into my parents' account for iCloud and all that shit. So it was the only movie on the iPod. So there were so many numerous times in middle school where it being the only movie I had access to, I just watched Tower Heist.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
That's really sweet.
I actually haven't seen it since 7th or 8th grade until we rewatched it recently.
Really?
So it was very interesting to get the juxtaposition. But yeah, that's the reason I'm always bringing it up is I have more fond memories of it. So I'm always guys, we gotta watch Tower Heist. We gotta check it out. We gotta
Awesome. Yeah.
And of course, we here at Filmatic, specifically Justin and I, are just huge Stiller fans. And people are getting a little bit more. I'm not, there are things in the works. That's all I'm going to say. You guys don't even know about this, but there are things in the works.
New Ben Stiller movie that you're working on?
Ben
We are
Stiller's
huge.
coming on the podcast.
We're
My
huge
dream.
Ben Stiller fans here.
My
Hashtag
dream.
ad, hashtag spawn.
We've reached out to
I wouldn't
Ben Stiller's
recommend Ben
agent,
Stiller unless I would use this product myself.
It's good. It's good. But no, yeah, that's kind of the meta story behind that. But I guess to go into a layer, one layer deeper than the brilliant 1-minute summary that Justin gave us. Ben Stiller works as a manager at the Tower, and it turns out that the big boss in charge, the guy in the penthouse, Alan Alda's character, whose money, the employee's money that he's invested, it all turns out to be embezzled. It's a fraud. Alda goes to jail. Their money is in jeopardy. It's going to be lost. So what does Stiller and his working class friends decide to do? They decide to steal it back, Robin Hood style, of course with his skinny friar tuck. And
Matthew
No.
Broderick isn't even working class in that movie.
that's a good point. That is a good point. Right.
He's
Because he
I
plays,
guess he's turned working class.
right, because he was on Wall Street and all this
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
just went south. That's an interesting. I never even fully. Yeah, that's a good
Class
point.
solidarity.
Good
I
point.
think.
Nice buzzword.
What does it mean?
Asshole.
No, but yeah, and then as we said, zaniness ensues from there. I'm gonna go right off the bat and start with a possible first, dipping my toe into the contentious arena. Eddie Murphy's performance. I liked it. I liked that it felt underplayed and subtle. I'm not saying that was necessarily intentional, but it came off that way. And I liked that. I feel like when you hear that Eddie Murphy's going to be in a movie, Eddie Murphy in a comedy movie, you're like, oh my god, when you want to prepare your body for that event. That's, I mean, at least I do. As a fan of Eddie Murphy, that's a hyperbole, of course, but I don't know. As just a fan of Eddie Murphy, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna have such a bombastic role, this and that, X, Y, Z.
That's how I felt watching Meet Dave.
I've not seen that one, but I like that. I like that he wasn't in the movie a lot, but it worked. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was definitely one of the best performances in the movie. He's just like, I don't know. I don't think there was anything like necessarily special about it, but yeah, I think he did seem to have sort of like, I don't know, kind of like this like sort of refined performance. It wasn't like too in your face.
True.
Yeah.
You got to see some like really vintage Eddie Murphy material when he was dressing up as like the investor or whatever.
Yeah.
When he was when he like put on the glasses and he was like,
these mahogany?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's classic Eddie Murphy fast talking. If you read the back of any like mid 2000s Eddie Murphy comedy DVD, it describes him as fast talking.
Really?
That's a good
like
point. Yeah.
whatever his job is, like fast talking attorney, fast talking real estate agent, like.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
What do you want me to say?
I mean, I guess like he didn't have to like really, usually we see him as the main character, so it seemed like this is like the first time I've seen him as like a side character, so he didn't have to go through all that like, this like super cheesy like emotional arcs that you see in these types of comedy movies.
If he was trying to overdo it, if he was whether he was trying to performance wise, or the script was trying to make it like a more bombastic Eddie Murphy character, it wouldn't have worked. And I feel like his character fits in the tone or tones of the movie.
Yeah, I don't think like the writing really did him or any of the characters that much justice, but I don't know. I think like his like as a character, his motivations were super strange. That goes for like everyone in the film, I think, but I'm sure we'll get into that later. But like, I mean, I think as an actor, he did a good job. He was my favorite part of the movie, I think.
Yeah, and I guess that takes us to, might as well just take the next street over to Ben Stiller himself, and I also like his character. I mean, I like that. I don't think it's unbelievable that he's playing a whatever you want to call it, working stiff, whatever, the manager of this big tower. I think it works, and I also feel like, I don't know, I've heard some talk about it's kind of weird how he has innate abilities and he just starts smashing the car and that sort of thing, and it's like, I don't know. I think it's once again a case of subtleness works, in my opinion. I don't know. Were there any other thoughts about Ben Stiller's character?
Yeah, I thought it was like, I don't know. I think in the same way as Eddie Murphy, as you were just saying, like when you look at other movies that feature their like too, they have like a pretty typical way that they go about their performances that are like, it's they're kind of playing the same character in each movie, just in a different like setting. But I think in this one, for me, and I haven't seen like every Ben Stiller movie, but like I think that like it stands out as like a more like palatable role. And I think that works well with like, I don't think like when we were watching it, I had questions and I brought it up at the time, like about like what tone is this movie going for at certain points.
Yeah.
But like I think the way they wrote the characters and the way they were acted, like fit what they were going for well.
Yeah.
And it just like meshed together well in that way.
Yeah, and I feel like in terms of like, I mean, I understand and I agree that the tone feels like it's fumbling, especially in the beginning.
Mhm.
But I also feel like however you want to put it, more seriousness, more drawn out, I guess, would be the two descriptors I can think of both the beginning and the end. Work and service with the beginning and the end. Like, I like that in the beginning, you see Ben Stiller getting up early every day and always, perfecting what his work is going to be for Alan Alda. And you see that he puts a lot of pride into his work, and that, again, it's just a very much more serious start than you'd think of for a comedy movie. And I think that if that sort of thing wasn't there in the beginning, I wouldn't personally buy the ending where he's sacrificing, his freedom for his friends to maintain the honor or whatever you want to call it of his job, and so to speak. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if this started differently to maintain the tone of a comedy movie, as some might suggest, then the ending would feel cheaper.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And like the ending does feel a little cheesy already. Like
Yeah.
skipping.
Personally, I like that
way
cheesiness,
far
but
ahead.
yeah.
I do
Yeah.
too. It's like we talked about, and we can get into the symbolic meanings.
They hide the Ferrari in that Benjamin Franklin $100 bill pool,
which ties back to the very beginning of the movie,
Right.
where Alan Alda's like, "Oh, and Ben Stiller, shut the pool, will you? I hate to waste money." And then I kept thinking
when he says Ben Stiller. I would just like to say I'm glad we're using the actors' names, because I don't remember a single character's name in this movie.
All I remember was that Ben Stiller's name was Josh. That's the only character I remember.
Didn't even know that.
Well, here's what I'll say. The entire movie, I kept expecting the pool to come back, because I'm like, there's no way that line isn't some kind of reference to look at. And what my thought was, I knew obviously that when they broke into the
It wasn't going to be
in the
there.
middle of the room,
Yeah.
I knew the safe was going to be empty, or I thought maybe there wouldn't be a safe. I didn't honestly remember that it was the car. I was thinking it had something to do with the pool, but
yeah,
I like that they did eventually tie in the pool regardless.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I just want to say, not related to the movie, it's I feel like in the earlier Filmatic episodes, especially the ones where you did by yourself, Nabil, there was always split into sections, and there was a certain cutoff point before we discussed spoilers. But I feel like in the later ones, especially the group ones, it's just everything's just said. There's no
I think it's because when I did the solo ones, there was much more of a plan,
Fair.
I'd write literally the sections and whatnot, and I was trying to emulate other movie podcasts in terms of having a spoiler section and not.
I think we should just go through the movie, from its plot timeline.
Yeah, we can do that.
Comment on things, I suppose.
Evan.
That's that's definitely the best way to do it. That's how we cover the most ground.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All
It's
right.
the best way to do it. Sorry.
No, but it's a good way.
I'm
to
sorry.
Organize our
I'm sorry.
thoughts.
I was on the longest episode of Filmatic ever.
Wasn't he?
I was too.
Yeah, you were there. All right.
How many of you guys were in the longest one guest Filmatic episode, though?
Me.
True.
Oh,
When
also,
are we gonna do an episode without Nabil? What do you think? Sounded really
I don't know. I feel like
sounded really
you
ominous.
can't do this to me. You can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Yeah, that's good.
You know how much I...
It's gonna keep playing.
Okay, yeah, we got it. I'm so glad you set that up. That was perfect.
Yeah, that was planned, guys. Nabil and I
It was not
talked about that ahead of time.
Yeah. So a couple things there before we can circle back and do Evan's idea, because I feel like that'll work for this movie because it's shorter. I know we tried to do it for Spider-Man, that felt more drawn out, but I agree it'll work for this. So Justin mentioned the Shrek episode. There was an iconic Shrek line, right? Shrek 2 during the Knights sequence. What does Donkey say, Justin?
During the Knights sequence?
Yes, when he's getting attacked. Only I could ask Justin the question.
Tonight on Knights, you're referring to.
Yes. They're all getting arrested.
Yeah, dude, I do not remember.
Okay,
Hold up.
you know, police brutality.
Oh, duh.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then Eddie Murphy delivered that line in the same intonation when he's actually undergoing police brutality in Tower
Yeah,
Heist.
true.
This is more of a joke, but I think it's funny how it literally sounds exactly the same, like it's copy paste. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's because I've seen Shrek and Tower Heist so many times. But yeah. Anyway, so circling back, yes, at the beginning, as I mentioned, we have Ben Stiller as a working stiff, Alan Alda swimming in the pool, which comes back later. I think this does give ground to discuss Alan Alda's character, at least in the beginning, which is, I feel like the shift from kind-hearted old white man to criminal, I feel like it works pretty well, and I like that Alan Alda delivers 100% of the way. And I think it could be argued that it's a little cheesy the way that he shifts from being so nice to being an asshole, but I think it also works and is realistic. So I just wanted to say that.
It definitely makes it feel like really like ominous and like it.
True.
Yeah.
To me, like it when they're showing like news footage and shit, and then they're like doing like the workers like all talking together. Like to me, it didn't feel cheesy. It made me really feel like yeah, this guy's a fucking asshole, and like because he's so like smug and plays that
Mhm.
part of it
Yeah.
so well that like he knows like the whole time that like he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, when he asks like Ben Stiller for an apology, and he's like, maybe you can start as something simple, a doorman, for instance.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Just absurd.
insane.
Yeah. So yeah, just again covering ground. He gets arrested. There is that sequence where Ben Stiller is running through the streets to catch up to the truck because he thinks that Alan Alda's character is being kidnapped.
Not
But
to cut
any
you off
thoughts?
again. That
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. That too, like that actually fooled me. Like I didn't know where it was
Yeah.
going. I thought because they portrayed him so well that like that was what the movie was going to be about.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I'm stupid for thinking that, but that's like I thought
No.
they did that well.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
We'll twit.
True. Yeah, and I think I feel like Ben Stiller. They got so many shots of Ben Stiller running fervently through the streets, and I want to point out that behind the scenes, it was not a double. It was in fact Ben Stiller running through the streets of actual New York, and that's another thing is that I learned from behind the scenes is a lot of this is filmed. Almost all of it is practical, on location. Besides the scene where they're dangling from the car, and even then they had a rig where it was a stunt car, and they're actually acting in it, being held above like a green screen. So I thought that was cool.
They weren't actually at the top of the skyscraper.
Was the
hanging
car
on.
legitimately hanging off the building?
No,
I
it's
don't
on
know.
like wires and stuff.
Yeah,
Wait. So it was
Spoilers.
hanging off the side of a building, though.
No, it was inside a studio.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
But it was
Yeah.
hanging off of something.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There was
Alright.
it
some
wasn't a real Ferrari. It was like a
Right.
replica.
iconically in an interview.
course.
Eddie Murphy said that they still could have died if the car fell.
Really?
So yeah,
That's
but I mean,
crazy.
it's obviously like on a rig and shit. So
Yeah.
it doesn't. Yeah. Thought that was funny. All right. Anyway,
Who'd
so
have
we
thought
move on.
That's the movie
Yeah.
that Eddie Murphy risked his life for. It's Tower Heist.
In fact, yes. So of course, they find all this shit out. Everyone's bummed. I believe. Okay, so then we have the iconic scene of all of them going up to the penthouse when he's on house arrest, and they go in. What the fuck's going on here? Oh, also Lester steps in front of a train. Sorry, that's the night before.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Also,
sure.
the entire driving plot of
Yeah, I
the
was
movie.
like, why did they go to the penthouse? Because Lester almost killed himself.
Yeah, because he
Um,
was like super happy, and then
He's like, I'm retiring, and then he couldn't retire because of this.
yeah, so
So-
then, boom, just like that, switch.
Because I mean, like, you like briefly mentioned it, but just like explicate it.
Please.
The reason all of the employees are fucked, including Lester, is because Ben Stiller's character
Oh,
personally asked Alan Alda to
Do a
invest
favor.
every single employee's pension in.
I like that setup when they're all
In-
together and they're like, Ben
True,
Stiller's
yeah.
explaining the situation. He's like, so someone asked Mr. Shaw for a favor to invest all of our money. And they're like, who? And he's like, I did.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
But it humanized him because he also had Alan Alda invest his own money. So
Yeah.
he lost it too.
But
sure.
I do like that line about, like, I forget her name, of course, but the, like, cleaning woman is specifically like, I didn't ask for my profits to be tripled or whatever.
True. Yeah.
It's a good line.
Yeah. Yeah. And after that, Lester tries to kill himself. Luckily, there was an off-duty cop there who
Classic
Or
plot
something.
device.
I kind of wish they showed that. No, do I? No, maybe not. no, because it works because it's suspense, right? You think he's fucking dead.
I
'Cause
remember
he-
we were all
Yeah.
surprised when it happened though, because
Yeah.
like there was like no like I never got like any indication that he would do something like that.
Yeah,
and
it
we were all
was
like,
super dark out of nowhere. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how do you show that if he's happy, like he's gonna retire, and then
I think
he's
they like tried to play it off as like a joke because like right after it's like he's actually alive, but I don't know. It was
It
like
didn't really seem like they were trying to convince
Yeah,
us that it was a joke.
yeah.
Lester was doing it as a joke.
I think it was definitely a dramatic mislead and not a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, so of course Ben Stiller and co are pissed off about this, so they storm up to the top of the tower and confront Alan Alda. Ben Stiller, which I think is a pretty funny scene. He smashes up the car. Steve McQueen is my little bitch, like that, inverting the speech that Alan Alda gave to the FBI agent about the car. I like that a lot. Right, so he smashes it up. Of course, they get fired for it, and that's when Ben Stiller has that idea to take it all back because of the bar scene with the FBI agent. I should mention, just to cover all the ground here. I think it worked. The whole, I don't know. What do you think of the FBI agent Ben Stiller romance?
It was non-existent, really. It was like one scene.
I
was
think
kind of-
it was
and then they kind of
non-existent.
gave up on the plot.
I think it was somewhat non-existent. Okay, one obviously heavily needed to happen for the plot so that he could learn certain details and whatever. But I mean, he also kind of used her as well, which is, I don't know. I don't know if there's any other thoughts about that.
Yeah,
But-
I thought it was kind of misogynistic.
When I delve further into that, Mr.
No.
Buzzword.
No, that was a joke.
So how do you actually feel about it?
Christ.
I'm so confused.
How? So.
You really can't even like make an
Yeah,
argument for
brain
it
fog really hit him.
because there's like nothing.
So, I think that here's my commentary. What is it about that actress that makes her
Leone.
look so familiar,
Yeah,
but also so strange? What is she in? What is this
Jurassic
woman in?
Park 3.
I haven't
Fun
seen
with
that.
Dick and Jane with Jim Carrey.
I haven't seen it.
Let's see what else.
She was in Flirting with Disaster, another Ben Stiller classic.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm not a big Ben Stiller fan.
Whoa. You are not gonna like what's coming. Am I right, Justin?
Dude,
I
know, I
had
was
already
like-
mentioned it to him.
Okay, you told him what it was there.
Of course, I know. I'm aware of
And
this.
the
You
bill
guys,
keeps
like,
dropping hints
worship
like,
him.
you're not gonna like what's coming. We already made a couple,
We have plans for
2001
Filmatic, but you are gonna like it.
Stop.
We're gonna be put on a watch list, bro. It's good.
And Nabil's just be like, guys, I have plans for the future of Filmatic, but you are gonna like it.
What else is she in, Evan?
Yeah.
I don't like Ben Stiller. Look, I said it.
Cheap.
I
Never
think
mind.
he's a pretty deadpan actor,
No,
and
no,
I don't
we were-
think it like.
What else is Tia Leone in?
Look, you guys won't let me, say my shtick about you're trying to silence me. I get it. You want me to focus on Tia Leone. Wow. Okay, let's see. She was in Bad Boys. Okay, she was in Madam's Secretary.
Just in bad.
Spanglish. Okay,
Bad Boys 2.
Can you focus on movies I've personally seen, Evan, please?
Jurassic Park 3.
Okay.
She was in
Alright.
Tower Heist.
She was in
She's apparently going to be in Jurassic World 3 because they're bringing. If you've ever had any association with the Jurassic
news
Park
section of
series,
Filmatic. Jurassic World 3 looks like shit. It's
it's
Yeah,
coming
looks
out
terrible.
this summer and no one
Looks
gives
so
a fuck.
bad. Literally
Can it
saw
be
that
worse
shit.
than Jurassic World 2?
I think
That,
so.
yeah, that last one
I
was a
think so.
stinker.
This
That
new
last
one-
one was
Life finds a way, buddy. All right.
Life with Jake Gyllenhaal and Idris Elba?
no.
And
Are
isn't
we
that with
just-
Ryan Reynolds too?
Yeah, he's in it.
I just want to
Might I
say.
say... Sorry.
I just want to say, might I say. Alright. I just want to say, with Jurassic World 3, specifically, what it reminds me of is, like, the new, like, Harry Potter movies with,
Fantastic
Oh,
Beasts.
there's a new one
Man
of those coming out, right?
The Secrets of Dumbledore. Anyway,
Yeah, there's also
like magic is in all of the world now, and it's cooler because we can do more CGI in different places.
Are you saying
And
magic should only exist in Great Britain, or what?
Mhm.
Did
Yeah.
magic only exist in Great Britain in the books?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was a
No.
global thing.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it
no.
was.
This
'Cause
is
there was-
not this.
The whole point of Goblet of Fire was that there were different schools and shit,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, dude.
That's not what I'm saying.
Casey.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know you have brain fog from your 5th round of COVID, but
Holy shit.
All right. Listen,
What were you saying?
for my friends and family out there listening, I have had
Sorry.
COVID twice. All right, twice. Not 5 times, but I do have irreparable brain damage, and I'm sorry for anything I say on this podcast. Maybe about a little.
reviews.
Please bleep that.
Thank you for the additional work.
Any comments expressed by Casey do not represent the views of Filmatic or
Okay,
Nabil
yeah.
hold
Sharif.
on. That now makes it sound like I said something like horribly offensive. It's not. It's just a joke in poor taste about an event that happened.
Just say joke in poor taste.
10 years before Tower Heist came out.
But now if you censor it,
But in
that
the same
entire thing
city
you
as
just said,
Tower
it sounds
Heist.
like he's adding on to it and making it even worse.
No, okay. My
Dude,
happened
stop
in
digging
2000.
yourself. You're digging yourself deeper, bro. What happened in
Oh my
2001?
god.
My
I couldn't hear it because it
birthday.
was censored.
Did this happen before or after?
It happened almost 6 months to the day after. When is my
Yeah, what is your...
It's April. So you could say that happened. I can't do the math.
Suicide Squad.
It is hiatus from Tower Heist. Can I just talk?
Yes.
Yeah,
This
you think
is
it's
the
Suicide Squad?
filmatic,
I'm gonna have to put some time codes for the
And-
hiatus from Tower
and the
Heist. but yeah.
filmatic news section right now.
Let me just say, I don't think it was intentional because he made a point of saying this isn't a bit. But before we were recording, Nabil was searching for a humming noise. And it was exactly like Ben Stiller searching for the buzzing noise when Michael Pena's phone was ringing. He like silent, he's like,
Who's buzzing?
where's the buzzing? Who's buzzing? It's literally, that's
Holy
exactly
shit.
what happened.
Holy shit, that's exactly what happened.
Good.
That's so good. Great segue back into the movie.
After that long edited section.
I literally have no idea what the fuck. Okay, we were talking about the FBI agent, and she tells him to storm the castle, literally, and he takes that advice literally, and so he recruits the boys who've been fired, as well as Matthew Broderick, who I keep grouping in, but again, as pointed out, he's not a working stiff. He's just a Wall Street guy who is down on his luck and going broke. But yeah, he recruits
from
them.
The tower.
Yes, and he recruits them, and they say they're in. Of course, we find out that Michael Pena has been working at the BK. Oh no, that was earlier. My bad.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack, yes. You like working here? And he's like, I cry at night.
Good line.
But yeah, so that happens, and then they're like, well, none of us know how to steal anything. We're not thieves. And he goes, good thing I know one, or something like that. And introduce Eddie Murphy's character, who we've seen, I think, twice from the beginning of the movie when Ben Stiller's walking home from work. One time in an argument with his significant other, and another time in an argument, getting arrested by the cops. Of course, police brutality.
He's used him 3 times.
Okay. Oh, he
The
talks
first
to him
time
one
he
time, right?
harasses Ben Stiller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great portrayals.
So yeah. So and then we find out he bails him out of jail, and in the car, Eddie Murphy asks him why he bailed him out, and Ben Stiller explains that he knows him from kindergarten as well as living next to him.
It has one of my funniest lines, or one of the lines I think is the funniest in that scene is when Eddie Murphy is asking him, he's trying to guess why Ben Stiller bailed him out, and he asks if he wanted to stimulate his nutsack.
Yeah, pretty funny.
That is a
That's so
Justin
funny.
line. I think that's pretty.
Get it.
Dude. Get out of here! You didn't even have a buzzword in that sentence.
You wanted to buzz your testicles, bro.
Who's buzzing? You sleeping on Buzz?
Good.
Buzz? When's that coming out? Sorry.
Sounds like
What do you mean,
Talk
one
about
year, buddy?
movie news.
Oh, fuck, is that called Buzz?
It's called Buzz.
Buzz.
I feel like that is...
Buzz.
That is by
Summer
far a worse
2022.
title, yeah.
Yeah.
Woody.
Buzz's girlfriend. Woof.
So
How about that,
I like.
Mr. Potato Head? Gender.
Dude, Evan.
I'm sorry.
Evan
Thinking more
literally
Buzz.
said he said 4 different unrelated Buzz jokes. He just keeps saying Buzz quotes.
Oh man. So I liked the joke where Eddie Murphy was talking about him being an asthmatic in his kindergarten class. Thought it was funny. Yeah, I like that. Of course, he tells Eddie Murphy that they're stealing $20 million, and he says, "Let's go get some lunch." Cut to the mall. We get one of the best scenes in the movie, which is, as we parodied in the beginning of the podcast, the everyone steals $30 worth of apparel from the mall.
$50.
Oh, sorry, $50.
Important. For the
Thank
best
you.
joke in the movie.
Yeah, it's one of the best, I'd say. And I again, as Justin brought up earlier, not on the podcast, I think, but I just like the little bits of Matthew Broderick being a bitch, where it's just like, I'm gonna go with you, Josh, and he's like, no, you're not going with Josh. I don't know. I like the entire character of Matthew Broderick. I feel like it works well. And then so they go to steal the apparel. Of course, the woman's panties, the earrings, help me out, shoes. And that's it. And then the scented candle.
No. Matthew Broderick has something.
He gets like a coat or a sweater.
It's
shirt,
a
something like
shirt.
that.
Oh, he
Yeah.
takes the tag
Yeah.
off of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's
I think it was a hoodie with some kind of pop culture
How did
imagery
he
on
get
it.
that tag out of it? He just cut it out perfectly.
No, it's like
So-
a little rip.
Yeah,
Oh.
a hole in it.
Okay.
This is
Yeah, but it
very
was like
important.
no. When he showed it, I thought it was like a perfect like rectangle.
This is crucial.
Is it? So
Yeah, dude, this is a big plot hole, man.
you know, they come back and they find out Eddie Murphy tells them that he stole all their wallets. Never trust a thief.
Just the cash from the wallets.
Correct. So we cut to the next scene, which is one of, in my opinion, one of the more iconic scenes. It's just the bobby pin scene. Then again, neither Casey or Evan remembered it, so is it iconic? The bobby pin scene on the roof. Also, once again, I feel like nowadays that's an easy green screen scene, but as I learned in the behind the scenes, that was on a roof in New York. Just little things like that I like about movies, you know, just being on location.
Being shot in real life.
I do. I mean, and now it's crazy that now that's an achievement. I feel like. But yeah. Anyway, as Evan pointed out earlier in the No Way Home still that he found of that guy in New York, right, Evan?
Oh yeah, what was it? Was that
So that's
I don't know the
Flash
character.
Thompson in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, I know it was Zero in Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, there's just a scene where he's standing on a street in New York, and it's very, very obviously like the fucking blue screen.
Right, yeah, it looks so funny, man.
And there's just
I
like
keep
no
seeing
one on the
that.
street. Yeah,
It's like a meme now.
yeah.
Like
so
that, like everything looks like out of proportion. There's this car that's like kind of squished up, like it's on the sidewalk in the background.
Yeah.
Like no one in the city. It's empty.
Yeah. Hence why I have such an appreciation when I watch these older movies and things are just normal. I don't know.
I think it's so weird. We're calling these older movies now. This is like over 10 years old.
Jesus, it's messed up, man. So yeah. So I also like. There's one scene after this, another good piece of comedy. I feel like when they're scoping out the tower from the restaurant across the tower, and Casey Affleck gets a call from his wife. He's like telling his wife exactly what they're doing and where they are. I don't know. I feel like once again, I feel like all the main stars in this are just really all have really funny parts.
Except for Ben Stiller.
I disagree.
Nah. He's like a wood plank.
What do you think the funniest Ben Stiller scene is?
That's a tough one. Probably the smashing the car scene.
What?
That's mine. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any preference?
I do like you mentioned the one line he says in the elevator about his balls.
Yeah.
It's just good delivery.
Yeah. When he's like,
Well,
my
what's
balls.
with you and balls, Justin?
They're hilarious.
Can we clip that?
That's the trailer. That's the.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, that's the promo. I think.
So, yeah, please.
I think it's probably $12 candle. I think it's pretty fucking.
That is a
funny.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like Ben Stiller's comedy in this movie is more script based almost. I don't know. I feel like, but also at the same time, that's what makes his character so great. As Casey was talking about earlier, is it's not so overtly Ben Stiller movie. He's playing a role, and I feel like he fits the role well. So that's how I feel about that. So I guess if we're gonna continue with the plot, we move on, and they figure out they have to crack a safe. So they recruit the maid from the tower.
Specifically, there was the funny scene where Eddie Murphy tells them he doesn't know how to crack a safe because he never actually enters apartments. He steals stuff
Right.
from balconies.
He's a cat burglar.
Yeah. And someone asks what does he steal? Potted plants.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So they bring her in, and it's during this part of the movie where Eddie Murphy also, we find out later, is learning how to crack the safe himself so that he can betray the gang later.
Yeah, I wish they would have hinted towards that, because like
Yeah, I agree.
once he did turn on them, I was kind of like disappointed, honestly, because I was like,
But it's
I
more.
was-
I
I
guess
had
it's more
this-
surprising. Yeah.
yeah, but it like wasn't like a rewarding surprise in my opinion. Like I would have much rather had him like go along with them and kind of cooperate and see how they work together, because I feel like we didn't really get too much of that beforehand. I feel like I was talking about this with you earlier about like the lack of like the kind of planning portion of their heist. I don't know if you want to get into that.
I was saying that I feel like the intention, not saying that I think it's the best way to go about it, but it seems like the intention was, rather in most heist movies you see the planning and then it becomes executed and things go wrong. The people who made this movie decided to cut the planning so that there's more surprise when things go wrong, because you literally don't know what's happening because you didn't see the plan.
But then it's not a surprise, really, because you didn't
Yeah.
not expect it.
Yeah. So it's like an anti-surprise.
I do think in one scenario that it worked really well is that they said we go in with Snoopy and we had no idea what that meant.
Let's talk about we go in with Snoopy, one of the best jokes in the movie.
That actually might be the best joke in the movie.
Right. So we they say some things are going awry with the plan because of Eddie Murphy's character betraying them. So they go,
and Casey Affleck having abandoned them.
Right. Also
turning
true.
against them, really.
Okay, I want to talk about that after this. So, they're like, "What do we do, Josh?" And he's like, "We stick to the plan. Going with Snoopy." Cut to the Thanksgiving Day parade, which, by the way, I feel like was a good backdrop for the movie. I liked it. Also, they constructed a whole parade to shoot the movie for. Like, they actually did a whole parade on a whole block in New York again, which is great shit. And anyway, so they go in with Snoopy, and then you see the parade go by, and Snoopy, and then you see the three guards from the tower who are watching the door go out on the street and go, "Oh, hey, Snoopy!"
No, definitely like funniest, like stupid part of the movie, in my opinion.
I feel like it had to have been intentional. I don't know.
I think so too, but it's
definitely.
just like, and I think that's good. It's just like so ridiculous. They're like, we know that all three of these guards love Snoopy balloons so
we know they're going to be leaving them,
much that they will leave their shift.
Yeah,
that's the icon in the parade that they want to see most.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like the most iconic float in the Macy's Day fucking Macy's Thanksgiving Day
Are you
parade.
not fucking familiar?
Famous
Oh, I'm
float.
sorry. No,
Yeah, Greg Heffley was in the movie, wasn't he?
Also, Kanye West was in the movie so quick
And
that you
Shrek.
blink and you miss it.
I didn't see it, dude. I saw it with
miss
Joan
it.
Rivers.
It was right after
and
the
then
Snoopy, which is why you missed it. They're
No,
like,
I was looking
I
at
was too
Snoopy.
distracted. Yeah.
because they do the Snoopy joke and then they
Oh,
walk
that's
in
right.
and then it cuts.
Snoopy!
And as they're walking in, you just hear from the lady in the back go, "And there's Kanye West." And then in the corner of the frame of the shot of the parade, Kanye's like waving on a float.
So they
Is it actually him?
Yes, 100%.
they got him. Why? They got him
For a fake
for a fake
parade?
Macy's Day parade.
We didn't even see.
point.
We missed it.
Is he credited on Wiki? Is there a Kanye filmography insert for
I'll
Tower
check.
Heist?
You mean like, is he in the credits?
Is he credited
This is live investigative reporting.
anywhere
I'm
in
looking
this
it up right
universe? Anywhere that we can tangibly see it? Is he credited for his presence in Tower
I got
Heist?
you, bro. I got you. Don't worry. I'm on it. Kanye
Is
West
that
videography
really
on
Kanye?
Wikipedia. And we go down to 2011. And we see that this is his music video. So we're going to exit that article.
Control F. Tower
Okay,
Heist.
Day on IMDb. All right, here we go.
Kanye
known
West
for-
did perform at the 2010 Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade.
Oh,
The
maybe
legit one.
maybe they used a clip for that part.
That's true.
Possibly.
That's true. They probably combined clips with their fake parade.
That would probably make the most sense.
Okay, here we go. Was that really Kanye West?
Yeah, that's
Posted
what I
9
was-
years ago. Oh, okay, you did.
Yeah, it doesn't not help. I'm looking at that same article.
He is. They thank him on the credits for Tower Heist on IMDb. He's in the thanks section.
Yeah, special thanks is Kanye West. I saw it. It looked like him, or I guess a really good impersonator. I don't know. I thought
Donald
it
Trump is also on that
Kanye
same
East.
list.
It was Kanye East, bro. They
Yeah.
All right.
So they went in with Snoopy.
Oh wait, look
what
at this
yeah.
thank you list is fucking awkward, dude. You got
Roman
Roman
Polanski,
Polanski, Donald Trump,
Yeah, no, I should mention
NBA
also,
on it.
also in one of the Brett Ratner interviews, he mentions that Roman Polanski is his biggest hero and that he flew to Switzerland and showed Tower Heist to Roman Polanski, who gave him tons of notes. And the interviewer asked him, the interviewer asked him, "What kind of notes did Roman Polanski give you?" And he's like, "Just a lot of great notes, just like music notes and narrative notes." It was just hilarious. I
It had
recommend
nothing to do with the movie. It was lifestyle tips.
Yeah. So wait, one thing I wanted to talk about that happened before the Snoopy scene, when, as Justin mentioned, Casey Affleck defects back to the Tower side as he gets Josh's job, and he's giving a speech right before the beginning of the day in the garage for the Macy's Day Parade, which was a hilarious speech because he mentions that. And I like his delivery is great because he's reading it very like he almost can't read, and he's like, "Some of you may know me as the reason Paul McCartney refuses to stay here. I may have misinterpreted the word wanker." And something else I learned from the behind the scenes and gag reel is that that's a completely different take. It seems like they did like 3 takes for that, 3 different versions of that speech, all of which are very funny. I recommend checking it out. But yeah, so I wanted to mention that. And once again, just coming back to it, like Casey Affleck, again, hit the nail on this. All this stuff is funny. When he tells Josh that he got the job, you get the code blue black joke, which was one of the funniest jokes, I feel like.
I feel like something we didn't... are we going to talk about the Casey Affleck being...
Do you want to, since you brought it up?
I mean, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't know enough details. But I'm just saying, they really outdid themselves with this movie. They were really thinking ahead. They're just like... But that's all.
I mean, I guess just there are a lot of problematic people in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Ratner directed it, accused on, I think, 6 counts of sexual assault. Of course, we have Casey Affleck, as you mentioned, who I think is 2.
Wait, what did Casey Affleck do?
Sexually assault.
Oh, boy.
Allegedly sexually assaulted 2 women. And then you have Matthew Broderick, who killed a few people with his car. Just kind of, yeah. Insert car joke. Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
A car driving into a tower. I'm sorry.
What?
That was shoehorned.
Alright. No, it happens in the movie. They drive a car into the tower. They kind of like fling it into the tower.
You want to talk about that
Matthew
sequence?
Broderick does it also.
If we're still talking about allegations, though.
Okay, yeah, let's finish that up.
Can I just say, one of the most absurd allegations against Brett Ratner is Brendan Fraser apparently claiming that Brett Ratner tricked him into posing for photographs that he then sold in a book without telling or asking Brendan Fraser.
Did not hear about that.
It's crazy.
Really?
He made like this book of like wacky photos of like, I guess mostly like celebrities and like
Brett Ratner's
actors.
book of wacky photos.
Literally. It's called Hillhaven Lodge, the photo booth pictures. And apparently he like got Brendan Fraser to pose, took pictures, and then secretly published them in a book without telling him.
Pictures?
I don't know. I haven't read the book.
Like
I haven't read the book.
Booth. I think it's just like a photo booth at like probably wherever he lives or something. Like, guess go.
Yeah, no, I did the
of
unfortunate thing of reading into some of the Brett Ratner specific allegations after we watched the movie, and there's some fucked up, gross shit, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And only stuff Casey would talk about and then have censored in the podcast.
But I do. Just whatever I'm gonna say. I was gonna say something, but
no, you can talk. Yeah.
Okay, I can talk.
No, you can talk.
So, free speech here. I just wanted to say that, like, I don't know. I mean, I think we all are kind of the opinion that you can, like, recognize those things and still, like, appreciate.
Separate art from the artist.
Yeah. And you know, I think it's difficult sometimes, but I don't know for everyone. But I think sometimes, like, depending on the different situations. But I think, like, in something especially like a movie, like, you think about, like, the other people who put work into this and, like,
Yeah.
appreciating their work and different things. So I just wanted to say that, like,
And then you consider that Brett Ratner, I'd say one of the worst objective things, in my opinion. Like, it's not objective if it's my opinion, but one of the worst parts of the movie, seeing it now as a more mature person in terms of movie making and stuff like that, is Brett Ratner just directed it so blandly for the most part. So
Mhm.
it's like he didn't even leave enough of an impact for me to consider that he directed the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I
and
don't.
more or less, especially now that I know
Yeah.
that there are different screenwriters and that they based a lot of it on this original story from 2005. So you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
as far as
definitely.
his touch on it, beyond being buddies with Trump,
Mhm.
it's kind of separate in my own head.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I want to say about that. I guess if
Ezra Miller.
should we update them on Ezra Miller?
Oh.
Well, I don't know. You mentioned it in the slap and other news.
Someone
It
listens
just
to the
seems like-
podcast. Yeah.
True. It just seems like if you're on an island and you see Ezra Miller, stay away. What at this point it's like first Iceland, now Hawaii. Something, and this is something about separating art from the artist is like.
Oh
it
god,
is
yeah.
so-
Oh gosh, yes.
Unironically, it is so unexpected from like his character in like anything I've seen him in versus his
Yeah.
like apparent behavior in reality. It's crazy.
Yeah. The Flash.
Yeah.
Again, non-binary representation we need in the world. I think they're doing us good.
As far as like, I don't know if I want to delve into the actual allegations beyond Ezra Miller is a fucking freak and
Yeah.
threatens people's lives apparently now.
That's what's
but,
exactly
yeah.
what Justin's saying. Where it's like with a situation like that, it's weird how like on one hand it's fucked, but like it sounds so absurd.
Yeah, that it's like comical.
Like the one that was like Ezra Miller broke into someone's apartment and threatened their slut wife. Like what
Yeah, he's like told him that he would bury his slut wife.
or just the video of them like choking somebody and like slamming them to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to fight? You want to fight?
Which at the time, because of that, we were like,
Yeah.
what did we say?
We had like a whole like argument that like it seemed like he was joking.
It seemed
and
the
he
girl
in
was
on
like
it.
in on the joke,
Yeah,
and we
exactly.
couldn't tell because the footage is so blurry and like the person is laughing,
Right.
and we
But I
couldn't
guess
tell what was going
after-
on. Yeah,
After this,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to defend them.
Yeah,
It's
I hope
like-
no one goes back and thinks we're defending us.
True. Well, we didn't know that they were.
Yeah, of course.
We literally thought it was like a bit in the video. Apparently, they were really upset specifically because someone was singing a song
At a karaoke bar, which is so
were
absurd.
singing- They
Yeah.
were singing one of the songs from A Star Is Born, and that
Can't
really
blame
pissed
him.
them
No, I'm just
off.
kidding. That's a terrible joke. Jesus.
Honestly, it was the best song from the movie. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I haven't seen the movie, so. But yeah, terrible stuff. As far as like movie news for that goes, I do want to mention as we wrap that up that Warner Brothers met like today or yesterday, and are, as per insider sources, going to pause any future projects with him post The Flash. People are speculating. Well, it's kind of a weird timing that at the same time this is all going on, they delayed The Flash by a year. Not that they could even do anything about it, right? Because he's in the movie as two versions of himself, so I don't know if they would be able to recast him at this point. But anyway,
But no one's
interesting.
gonna go see it.
That's a good point.
You
That's a
know,
good point.
Filmatic will cover it though.
We will be we are obligated.
We'll be doing the hard work, alright?
Is there going to be a
I'm watching
Justice is
the new-
Gray Flash? The Flash is red version?
No,
The
I mean, I guess
Flash.
we could.
version.
Jesus. want me to censor that?
Bleep that, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see once the Flash movie is coming out. Then, like, if those allegations and like reports resurface, and like
Right, or if there's criminal charges pressed against him or
Yeah,
whatnot.
who knows, bro?
shit.
I
He
mean,
could be in jail they could be in
by,
jail
by then, you never know. He might strike out again.
yeah, I mean,
Lash out against society.
Ansel Elgort just waited like a year and a half and then was in a Steven Spielberg musical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
So, like,
True.
it's so
Ansel
easy
Elgort
for
had an
these actors
allegation?
to.
you don't know
Yeah.
about that?
Nah.
Ansel
Dude,
Elgort.
seems like I didn't know about Casey Affleck. I'd forgotten about the
like
Matthew
fucking
Broderick thing.
everyone. This is serious.
No, that's fucked up. But
No, it's not that serious. It's Tower
No, it's
Heist.
It's
yeah,
Tower-
let's jump back into
We're
Tower
talking
Heist.
about Tower Heist.
Let's jump back into Tower Heist, and yeah. So we talked about Casey Affleck. We talked about Snoopy. I guess the actual heist is the biggest thing that remains.
True.
I thought it was entertaining. I'm just gonna say it. I thought it was entertaining. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't great. It wasn't Ocean's 11, but I wasn't expecting that. I didn't get it. I got exactly what I was expecting. In terms of I'm in a different position where it's my memory when I'm remembering what I saw. But yeah, but it was still entertaining. I really wasn't sure if it was going to hold up, but it did. I like the car stuff. It doesn't look bad. Whenever the car is making movements, I was like, oh man, is the CGI going to look bad when it flips onto the thing? And in my opinion, it didn't look bad. When they're hanging from it, it doesn't look bad. When it's in the elevator, I thought that was entertaining. I thought it looked good. I want to hear your thoughts about that.
Having never seen Ocean's 11, I think it's really interesting because I understand why that like I'm familiar with it and I'm familiar with like the spin-offs and the sequels, but I don't know if what are other heist movies that I may have seen. I just don't know if I have anything to compare it to. But
There's a lot of good like older ones. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess like from our time, probably Ocean's 11 is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Maybe Baby Driver. That's kind of a heist movie.
Yeah, that counts. I would say.
Drive.
I think that.
You guys see Wrath of Man?
I want to see that.
I think that like
Oh,
it served what the movie was trying. I don't know. I just feel like I don't have, like I said, I'm just trying to say I don't have anything to compare it to, and like what a really good like well planned out heist and a serious heist movie should be. But like, I think that like it just fit the movie very well. It kept it like suspenseful while being like funny as fuck and entertaining, like, and just like ridiculous at points. Obviously, like the car in the elevator and shit. But like, I think that leads to just like funny moments that you wouldn't see in any other movie that makes this one special.
Right, and with the cast of people who are, despite their allegations, iconic, and throughout the movie proved that they were funny for the most part. So,
Yeah, I think like the heist scene, especially once like they find out that the money itself is actually in the gold of the Ferrari. I think we all kind of noticed when we were watching it that there was like definitely a shift in tone towards a more like kind of absurd and like I guess more of like the absurd stuff that you'd expect from like a comedy movie. I think that's where like its like strongest moments were, but that's definitely where the spectacle of the movie was. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Nabil. I think the shots of it in the elevator and like some of the shots of it from like this hanging off the side of the building did look pretty cool. I think I really like the setup they had, which had the car kind of hanging down like that. It was fun. It was creative. I think like as for like being a fun heist in general, I think like it could have been better. I think it wasn't like the stakes were pretty low. Although I will say I totally was expecting Matthew Broderick. So
To die.
he like
I
is
would die. Yeah,
he's
sorry.
like on the lower floor where the Ferrari is going down to, because they're lowering it down the side of the building to go into another room.
His old
Matthew
apartment.
Broderick like slips out and he's like hanging off the Ferrari. And I was like totally expecting it to like just have this like crazy like just like I don't know, like just shift and just have him fall off or something. I was kind of expecting that. And I think it would have been kind of funny if they did that. I won't lie. I like Matthew Broderick, but
I think you'd have a serious tone problem if Matthew Broderick fell to the ground and died, though.
not
You know
if
what I
they made
mean?
it funny.
I don't think it would. I still don't think it would fit, even if they
Also,
tried to make it.
given them
the
away.
movie's-
It would have given them away. Then
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because our big red Ferrari down on the side of the building isn't giving anything away.
But he would have
Everyone's
fallen
looking
like.
at Snoopy.
Yes, he would have fallen he would have fallen into Snoopy balloon.
The logic
That's how they could
of
have made
this
it
movie
funny.
is non-existent. There's like
I don't think it's
Justin,
non-existent.
you're onto something there. Holy shit, he falls into the Snoopy balloon, saves his
and he's like
life.
safe, yeah.
But I still feel like that even then we'd be shitting on it because I don't think that would fit the tone. I know that there's
nah,
arguments
I
about
would
the
be fine.
clashing tones of the movie and that there isn't a tone and whatnot. Personally, I believe there is a tone to the movie, at least at that point, you could argue. And I feel like if he died or fell into the Snoopy balloon, it would not have fit the tone in the movie. Is it absurd that he reaches across and grabs it as a middle-aged, fat, or not, I don't know, not a very fit man? Yes, it's absurd. But it also fits the arc of him being a little bitch and conquering his fears or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great character arc, dude. Ben Stiller literally says when he's about to destroy the Ferrari, when he's up in Aldo's face, he's all like, "Tone? What tone? Who gives a shit about tone?"
Oh
And
yeah.
I swear to God, that was like a self-referential line to the movie itself.
Mr. What does he say? Oh, that's a good line. Fuck, he says like Mr. Tone or something. I want to know what he says, dude. Something.
Tone.
Justin's on it.
I'm on it.
Yeah, so while he checks that, I mean, as well as the rest of the heist, I liked when they were all, of course, in the hallway with the golden carpet and all that shit. It looked very nice next to in contrast of the red car, and the old lady comes out, of course, and she doesn't, I thought that was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I agree with Evan though. Evan mentioned this. Justin, I'll get to you in a second. You know what? Go ahead.
I was
It made it
just
so
gonna say,
intrusive, the raising hand thing. His face is going up and down the fucking.
Yeah, I see that. Sorry.
Yeah.
He says, he's like, Alan Alda's like, and this is actually the moment that Alan Alda goes from being like the nice old guy that we see to being like the asshole like Jeff Bezos type, and he's like, Ben Stiller comes in all up in his face, and he's like, I've always tried to extend you a certain courtesy, Josh, but this tone you're using. And that's when Ben Stiller's
What
like,
tone?
what tone? Who gives a shit about my tone? What are you, some kind of tone master?
Tone Master, yes.
That's a funny Ben Stiller scene. I feel.
It is.
Might
It is.
be.
You
We're
can
talking
picture
about
Ben Stiller
favorite.
saying it like,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Smashing the car.
Tone
Can't go
Master.
wrong.
Tone Master.
what are you, some kind of tone master? Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, no, I forgot what I was talking about, but okay, yeah, Evan, we talked about this post movie, but you were talking about how you wish there was more scenes of them rolling it through hallways past people and
Yeah.
through the lobby and
'cause
stuff.
I think like my favorite shot of the movie is like when somehow they get it out of the elevator shaft. It's just this shot of them, all four of the guys: Eddie Murphy, Casey Affleck, Matthew Broderick, and Ben Stiller. They're just in the hallway of this apartment complex, this luxury apartment complex with this car that can barely fit in the hallway. And I was like totally expecting them to have to kind of roll it through the halls. And at that point I like suspended my disbelief enough to accept that if it were to happen. But unfortunately it took kind of a different turn. I forget what happens. I think they
Put
just
it on
kind
the
of
elevator.
Oh, I thought that was after it comes out of the elevator.
No,
it's
once they
like
put it in the
before they
elevator,
drop
we
it on
don't
top
see
of
it again.
Oh yeah,
because
you know what?
you're
Yeah,
led to
you're
believe
right.
it's in the truck, and then
You're right. I'm
yeah.
thinking.
And
I
it's
was thinking,
never
yeah.
explained how the fuck they got
It
it
gets
off of on
out
top of the elevator into the pool
trunk.
on the roof.
Yeah, what the heck? I forgot about that.
It's movie
Another
magic.
thing that's like, I guess we can get to that because you're still going through the plot.
Yeah,
Over an hour
so
into this podcast,
they're in the
we're like,
hallway and they put on the elevator, and of course that's when Mr. Shaw and the FBI agents get on the elevator, and I think it's the first time I've called him Mr. Shaw instead of Alan Alda.
I didn't know it sounded off. I was like, who?
So they get in the thing as they're on the elevator. Very tension-filled moment, and they go up to the penthouse, and it. I like how the car like fucking goes in the fender of the car goes into the top of the elevator shaft. Thought that was cool, and then I think Ben Stiller is like, "We need the truck." Cut to Lester jumping into a truck that we think has the car in it and being chased by the FBI. Of course, he gets stopped. Also, almost kills multiple people.
Yeah, just drives through the parade.
yeah.
And
He's
then,
just like, whoa! He's like,
and then
He did not slow
jokes,
down.
he jokes about his own suicide attempt.
True.
Yeah, I think that was more of just like a legal maneuver, right?
Oh yeah, but
yeah,
True.
Yeah.
like
Mental,
hilarious, ridiculous joke
Oh yeah, definitely.
in the movie.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just stole a truck and tried to kill myself.
That's good. Not good. No, but okay. So then we cut to all the members of the heist being arrested one by one.
Yeah, somehow they knew everyone who was involved.
Yeah, it didn't explain it. All it was,
True, fair.
they had masks on.
No, they
Not the whole time.
didn't.
Only when they went into his room and
You
then
know
covered
what?
up the cameras. Why would they make a point of covering up cameras in Alan Alda's room if there like weren't cameras in the hallway?
Don't
My
think
point
too
is,
hard
like,
about
also
it. You're gonna notice more flaw holes.
We're gonna be here for 3 hours, bro.
True. I mean, I guess it would have to be cameras, but
Where
you
were
think
the
Ben Stiller would
cameras
know.
located in the tower?
His whole character is that he knows everything about the hotel. Like that's the point, is that he literally knows everyone's routine. There's like a whole scene where he says that. He's like, I know everything. He would know where the cameras would be. He would know to like cover them up. He knew to cover the ones up in Alan Alda's bedroom. It's like he must have known.
Oh wait,
Their
no,
boss-
the
their
FBI.
boss
The
saw-
FBI.
yeah.
The FBI lady knows that it's him.
Yeah, but how did she know every single? She knew the Jamaican lady who cracked the safe was in on it. She knew
The guy
Casey
FBI
Affleck
agent
was
saw
in on
her.
it.
The FBI agent saw her when he was giving her cake, or she was giving him cake.
True. True.
Oh, true.
And
True.
It's a
and
got him.
their
That's
boss
a
saw
got him.
Eddie Murphy. Their boss saw Eddie Murphy when he was pretending to be the bank manager.
He's been locked in a closet
No.
ever since he met Eddie Murphy.
Okay,
though.
obviously he got out eventually.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Nabil. It's
True.
a very specific joke in the movie that they show each person
Yes.
getting arrested and they cut back to the closet and he's still in there and he never gets
Okay.
out in the movie.
I think you have the
He
timing
starves
wrong.
to death.
No,
Actually,
no.
I think.
They do like him like
He dies in the
screaming
closet.
in the closet. He dies in the closet.
Well, here's the thing. Eddie Murphy, when he first locks him in the closet, blares music from a construction
Yes.
speaker,
Yes.
and then that's in Mr. Fitzhugh's, Matthew Broderick's old apartment, right? And that's the same place where they fuck with the car and swing it into the window. And when they're doing that, you don't hear the music blasting. But then later, you hear the music blasting again. So that's a little bit of a genuine inconsistency. But what I will say is,
IMDb, whatever they're called, I forget. Spoofs, yeah.
if it was not for cameras, just because this guy saw Eddie Murphy, just because
Fingerprints.
he saw the Jamaican... that's a good point. But they
I
were
just
wearing
feel
gloves.
as
They
many-
made a point of wearing gloves, weren't
At
they?
this point, it's just pure speculation. You know what I mean? And I think that the point of the movie, okay, could there have been
Is that so much of it wasn't actually shown on screen.
Yes.
That's like everything about how they got the heist, how they got them to like fake a judge's appointment on Thanksgiving Day to get Alan Alda out of the house, wasn't
bought it.
explained. He just says, "Yeah, it worked." What worked? That's the biggest problem with the movie for me. I think is
There's
just
moments like
so
that,
much
yeah.
of it is just completely unexplained.
Right,
Like,
and if you're viewing
not
it
even
as
just
like
implied.
heist, then yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. I can see that. But I mean, it does lead to a cool scene where they're all getting arrested one by one. I mean,
I think that's a
You know,
great
Yes.
scene.
you know, doesn't correct me wrong? Eddie Murphy like tries to run off after he gets.
No, that was
One of
Michael
them
Pena. I
Okay,
think.
is it? Yeah. I liked Michael Pena in this movie, by the way. I want to say, I think this is
Yeah,
one of
he
his
was
first
Michael
roles.
He hasn't changed a bit in like the character he plays.
That's
I like
fair.
him, but he's just the same.
That's fair.
Which is a
With
classic.
yeah. Anyway, so they're all getting arrested, and then cut to Ben Stiller in the. Well, okay. First, when they arrest Ben Stiller, he has a little bit more time because the FBI agent lady is arresting him. He of course makes the joke about the dates, and
Not a joke.
or yeah,
It was
not
like
a joke.
the whole point is that she's like, "So what? You were just using me?" And he's like, "Nah, I made reservations at like 6 different restaurants or something like that."
Yeah. So then he gets brought in. Yeah, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that's like the official closure on their relationship in the movie. Because beforehand, we thought it's a will they, won't they interfering. I also like the joke where he says, "I separate my criminal life from my social life."
Oh yeah, when
That's just funny.
I like that scene. Wait, we didn't mention that scene where she shows up at his house,
Mhm.
and they're all like scrambling to hide, which I thought was funny. I don't know. I like the way they all were physically
True.
playing off that comedy, and then she leaves, and they're like, "You're banging the FBI lady," and like you said, he says that I keep my criminal life and my personal life separate, which is good. And I like that, just to say that I like all their chemistry together as a team. And yeah. Anyway, jumping back ahead, Ben Stiller is brought in to the police station, I guess.
Like
where
the
you-
interrogation room, because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
FBI, not the police.
Correct. So yeah, just like a white room, and of course we have the girl who works at the tower who's been studying for the bar. She finally passed the bar, and she's gonna represent.
Yeah, I like that part.
represent these people, and they make a deal that he'll let all of them go except for Ben Stiller, and he gets, I think, 2 years in prison. And yeah, cut to. Well, he also refuses to tell them where the car is, and they're like, "We're gonna find it," right? Cut to Alan Alda and Ben Stiller going to prison, and then we find out that it's in the pool, and then all these different workers from the tower get a little piece of the car, gold piece of the car.
We I just realized we've never
Which is
said in
funny.
this podcast that the car is gold.
No, Evan mentioned it earlier.
Okay. The car is made of solid gold. Okay.
That's where
Yeah,
everyone's
it's like
money is.
it's like up in Alan Alda's apartment. I like this set
Yeah.
for his apartment. I will say, like, it was a memorable
Yeah,
set.
it's
I like
pretty
that
nice.
big wall kind of dividing like the two halves of the room. There was kind of like the business side and like the leisure side with the car and stuff, and like the money right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't try to make it sound like it was like meaningful. It really wasn't. I kind of just like the production design of that room.
Sorry to cut you off, though, Nabil, you were saying. Each worker gets.
Oh yeah, each worker gets a piece of the gold piece of the car, which I like that. I like that little montage where you see Casey Affleck's baby being born.
I thought it was
What Justin? I see you making a
cheesy.
I think I like cheesy. I don't know, maybe I just like cheesy. I don't know.
It's kind of like funny and like cool that they each get a golden piece of the car, but like, what?
Oh, here we go. What are they gonna do with it? Yeah.
Unironically, what is this man going to do
Yeah, why don't
with
they
a
just
golden?
Oh god,
steering
Casey's getting
wheel?
ready
Like,
to jump into this. So I can see.
he's gonna what? He's gonna fence it. You think this like Vietnamese guy that doesn't speak a word
fence
of
it.
English? He's gonna
How about
fence
you
his like
speak
golden
English?
like.
I don't even know what fence means.
No, yeah, they should
Mr.
sell the
Using
car. Honestly,
non-words guy.
Ben Stiller is
Unironically,
just now
what is-
incriminating everyone because
Yeah,
he's just
they're gonna
giving
like go and sell this.
pieces of
Go to the
stolen
pawn shop. Like, oh yeah, I have the fucking hubcap for this '50s Ferrari made of solid gold. What is this worth? A couple
Lester has the
$100,000
steering wheel.
Yeah.
Definitely has fingerprints on it.
He's just gonna go to the pawn shop or the cash for gold store and then get everyone's fair share of money. No, they're gonna immediately go to
I
prison.
guess it's supposed to
as
be
soon
like
as they try and-
symbolic more.
Are like different parts worth
Thank
different
you,
things?
Nabil.
Like
Thank you,
Well, it's
Nabil.
about the weight.
it's
It's
a
the weight
dumb
of the
symbol
gold, right?
though. It's like
No, it's not a dumb symbol. All right. No.
It's not a dumb
Okay,
symbol,
but
alright?
Listen, all right.
Literally, like,
So, all right.
Here we
Oh,
If
go.
we're
that's what
talking
I
about
kids.
the whole Robin Hood thing here, if
Mhm.
we're talking about it from a perspective of like he is like giving the wealth back to like the common people, I think it is effective. Okay, if the scene was each person gets a check with fucking like $10,000
Right, it would be less.
or like
Yeah.
who cares? Who gives a shit? Like, and it doesn't match the tone of you just watched a fucking car being pushed
Yeah.
through a Ferrari being pushed through a fucking
I
hotel
don't care.
and
I
up
think
and
it's-
down
I
an
think it's all
elevator shaft
stupid.
and into a pool.
What
Like,
did you want?
yeah.
Big money bags with the S on it, bro?
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I'm like, the idea of like literal like pieces of this symbol of like this guy's wealth being given back to
We
people
distributed it.
yeah, alright.
is
You've
cool.
converted me. I like it now. I like
It's
it.
Yeah.
cool.
Let's go.
I
let's
think it was
go.
done poorly though. I don't. Nah.
Okay,
I
how would
didn't
you
get
do
it.
it?
Yeah.
How would you
All
do
right.
it?
That's not how I would have to rewrite the whole entire movie.
How would
Honestly.
you-
Oh,
how
so
would
you
you
would
do
have
the
to
exact same
change
movie?
the movie from what it is.
I just don't think though. Like I think it was honestly just all the themes were just like really poorly and like cheaply conveyed.
I disagree. I feel
I
like
think I like
That's
the
so polite.
relationship Ben Stiller had like with his, with all his employees, but in the end of it, I just kind of felt like it was just like a
Listen.
white knight kind of story where he's like, I'm saving the day for all my poor friends.
But he's the one that
What's
gets.
wrong with that?
He's the one that sacrifices. It doesn't mean like. I just
Yeah.
mean in the sense that it's his fault and he pays for it,
he pays
which
for it.
can't be said for like
Fair.
the fucking wow, his name, Mr. Shaw, at the beginning of the movie, but like both of them end up paying for their things in different ways, and then it's like the lower class working people, and they like show like Casey Affleck with his baby, and like the different people involved in the heist. Do they show like each other person? They don't show like Eddie Murphy. They
No.
don't
Yeah,
show
what
Matthew
happens to Eddie
Broderick.
Murphy?
Jail.
We don't.
They,
Yeah.
who knows?
Back
They
to
really
cheating
goes-
on
they-
his girlfriend
they
with
did.
Maria.
That is
Who's
one
Rita?
part of the movie. They're like that doesn't really
It's
line
weird.
up
Like
with
Eddie
my
Murphy's
social
missing,
themes
but I
here.
don't mind because, like you said, I feel
Okay,
like
now, come on.
okay, I do, okay.
Yeah, come
I
on.
mind as
Oh.
an Eddie Murphy fan. I
Oh,
mind.
oh, you know what I'm saying, Nabil. Why don't you mind?
Can we?
I literally do not know what you're saying.
Do I need to say it?
Another good little
Do I need
Matthew
to give you
Broderick
another
like,
bleep?
side
Do I
quote.
need to give you another bleep,
What?
Nabil? You're being kind of
How does
here.
Pause.
I'll write that
I was
down.
like, am I the only one that's just relieved Eddie Murphy's no longer on screen?
So what? There are colored people in the in the
All right.
tower.
Right. 1 minute 30 seconds. 1 minute.
Let me just
There's-
say,
There's a yeah.
the bobby pin scene, Eddie Murphy gives him all the bobby pin, and as he's locking the door, he's like, I'm going to be inside having sex with Rita. And he closes the door, and Matthew Broderick, right before it cuts, he just goes, Who's Rita? And then it just cuts away. It's just
Also,
classic.
Matthew
Broderick.
Broderick has like two separate moments in
I
this
don't
movie
think
where
that's
he
funny.
delivers lines. I think it's funny, and delivers the lines the same way as his character. One is like, what does he say? You brought a what to the Justin? You quoted this
true.
before.
That is actually my favorite line in the movie.
We didn't even
I
talk
said that
about it.
I think.
Yeah.
No, I know. This is definitively the funniest line in the movie. It's when Eddie Murphy or somebody's referring to the truck out front.
Eddie
that
Murphy says that he
pulled up
left
in,
the
right?
keys on the
Keys
dash.
under the sun.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You left the keys in the car, in the truck," and he's like, "Well, it's a stolen truck." And Matthew Broderick goes, "You brought a
For a
stolen truck to a robbery?"
Yeah,
It's just so good.
very good.
Evan be like, I don't think that was funny. I don't think
You left a stolen
It's not
truck
like-
on the street in New York. I'm just kidding.
It wasn't that funny. It was,
No, but I
song,
liked
yeah.
the ending. I'm a sucker for cheesiness and over symbolic and kind of the way Casey described it, and I like it. And I agree that as this movie can be done a better way, and I like that you said it that way. Is like you'd have to change the whole movie. So I agree with that. Yes. Were you gonna say something? Oh, sorry.
Me?
No, someone
Evan.
laughed. I don't know.
Evan.
I couldn't tell because
Evan
Evan's camera was like
was just
4
off.
bits.
It
Yeah.
was.
Thank you.
All right, Evan. Do your
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
grumpy
'cause,
old man yells at the
I feel like
sky about
that's like-
capitalism shtick.
That's
all
like the
right?
position I play on like every filmatic episode I'm
Oh,
on.
we
I feel
know.
like I'm always the guy because I'm the only one who ever says like negative things about the movie. But maybe at the same time, maybe I'm only saying negative things. And I will say, as stupid and dumb and forgettable and just brainless as Tower Heist was, I will say it was kind of fun watching it with some friends. I wouldn't say it's like totally devoid of any entertainment quality. I think it's fun to laugh at. Not really because it's like making you laugh, but rather that it's just like trying really hard. I don't know if you like Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy. I guess I don't know too much about them, like, to really say. I have seen Eddie Murphy in, like, a few other things, like Meet Dave, Meet Dave, as I've said. That's pretty great.
Maybe not the best Eddie Murphy example.
I remember getting really sick as a kid, and I was, like, laying in my parents' bed, because, when you're sick, and do your parents ever, like, when you're sick, you go in your parents' bed for some reason?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but maybe it's because they had the TV in there, and they felt bad. I was, in, like, a Day Called Days or something, watching Meet Dave, or maybe it was maybe I got like a tooth pulled or something. I don't know. I was just really tired, half asleep watching Meet Dave. That was like a surreal ass experience.
Seen Norbit, Evan?
No, I've seen like
Dr.
obviously
Doolittle?
like clips from it.
Yeah.
Dr. Doolittle.
Dr.
I saw
Doolittle,
as a kid. What about
kinda
Daddy
yeah.
Daycare?
Daycare is also
Daddy
not
Daycare.
great.
I don't
Honestly.
remember it.
Is a
but, I know I
classic.
had it.
I will say, I don't know if you guys know Imagine That. That is
Oh.
such a good Eddie
Is
Murphy
that like
movie. It is so
I
good.
think I remember.
It's
I
like
don't
early
think I saw it.
2000s when he first starts playing like the dad in movies, He's got like a daughter, but he's like too busy for her because he's a fast-talking investor. And
What
then,
about, speaking of talking, 1,000 words with Eddie Murphy. He has like
True, that was an
1,000
interesting
words
one.
he can say.
yeah,
He's got to choose them wisely. He's got to choose his words wisely.
he's
only got
literally
1,000
too
left.
fast-talking for his own good.
He ran out of
So-
words.
What are we
He literally
talking
ran
about?
No, it's a movie where he talked too fast, so now he was given a curse where if he says 1,000 words, he dies.
Okay,
So he
this
has to
does
like
not
conserve
sound
his words.
Parfait.
real.
Everybody loves Parfait. Yeah.
It is. No, literally, it's got Cliff Curtis in it as like self-help guru.
Who is that?
Oh yeah,
What do you mean? What do you mean? Who's Cliff Curtis? You guys ever seen 10,000 BC?
Oh god, no! I've seen the poster.
You'd
for
have
it
to live in 10,000 BC to know
at a
Cliff Curtis.
blockbuster.
That's a good one to do.
Oh, I know Cliff Curtis.
Thank you.
I know him.
Cliff
Yeah,
Curtis.
of course. He was Tick Tick.
Sounds like a fucking caveman name to me. Cliff
Yes,
Curtis.
because it's from
He
fucking
was in Hobbs
10,000
and
BC.
Shaw? What?
Okay. The point is, Eddie Murphy has been in some great movies. I don't remember why we were talking about
He's gonna be
this.
in Avatar 2. Just throwing it out.
Me and Dave. No, Meet Dave is not one of them.
Me and Dave. You
and
Dave
Dave.
Dupree.
He did. Yeah, I just kind of trailed off on I guess what I was getting at is Tower Heist. From my picky ass perspective, it's a bad movie, but it's kind of fun. It has some benefit to it, and for that, I'd give it like a 3 out of 10, maybe a 4. Honestly, I'd say after this, I might bump it up to a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, I respect your opinion, Evan, and I feel like it's just with this kind of movie, it comes down to not obviously a thing of preference, but more like, what are you seeking out of this movie? You know what I mean? And I feel like for what I was seeking out and for expectations that I set, I got what I came for.
Yeah, at this point, if you're like going out of your way to watch Tower Heist, you probably know what you're
Exactly.
You probably have the expectation that you're.
If you've
gonna
watched
end
an
up getting.
hour and 40-minute long podcast about the movie and you
You're
haven't
insane.
seen it,
You don't exist. Yeah, God.
What would you guys rate it? I want to hear like if you guys
Out of
have to give
10?
it like a number or just
I might give it like a. I told you already, Evan. I think I give it like a 5.5.
I was gonna say
I respect
5.5.
that. Five,
Yeah.
6 on a really good day.
Though.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's a little bit better than average.
You
I'd
guys
say.
all
I
agree.
spoke pretty positively of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Why-
it's in
why
a weird
like a 5. Like why not like higher?
Because
because when I do break it down and examine it, I'm more on your side of things, but I don't want to. I feel like I want to. That sounded
Ignorance
bad.
is bliss.
True. Honestly,
hour and 38
Enjoy it.
minutes into the podcast.
I don't want to. You know what? Fuck this. I'm ending the pod. No.
What I'll say is the reason I gave it that score is because I
wasn't
did
done.
watching it. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
just
kidding.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
continue.
No,
Seriously.
I'm literally just kidding. Please.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Okay. No.
Dude,
So
no.
are we done? Was
I'll
that a
remember
bit, or
this.
was that a bit, or are we actually done?
Who's buzzing?
I'm kind of hungry.
Who's buzzing?
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I enjoyed it enough where I'm like, I had a good time watching it, but as a movie, I can't really give it that high of a score because.
Yeah.
And consistently I would like to feel the way I've been talking about it the entire episode is that so much of the story is just like it's like absent. They don't show like so much stuff happening.
that's
I
like,
do
my
agree,
biggest
Evan. I
thing.
wish.
I feel like. Yeah, I just feel like it was written really like sloppily. I feel like you can tell it like it maybe like they weren't really thinking about the full picture as they were writing certain parts. Maybe a lot of it got changed as they were making it. But like the end product, it just seems like there's like way too many missing pieces for it to be like a truly coherent story in my mind.
That's fair.
I just wish it had more hijinks with the car.
Yeah, I think it could have honestly. It could have been more creative. Like having the car on the side of the building is like it is a spectacle in itself. But I feel like you gotta like throw in some crazier elements than just like the classic. Matthew Broderick, am I gonna fall?
No, the stuff like inside the car, I think was like. They were doing shit like that. Like
that's true. Like
I
going
haven't seen
inside the
something like
elevator.
that before. Yeah,
I guess was fun.
I see what you're saying, though. I feel like this could benefit from. It almost seems like it was something they tried to cut it down, or like whether that is in writing or otherwise.
I read that this was basically. I think Brett Ratner himself said that the theatrical cut is my director's cut. Basically, not much got cut out. There wasn't like.
Well, I'm not talking about Brett Ratner, so I should specify. I feel like they could have written more if that was the script that what we saw was the original
that's true.
script.
That's true. I'm forgetting that he didn't actually have anything to do with writing.
Yeah,
He didn't actually have anything to do with the movie.
he just sat behind.
He was just there to sexually
to talk to
harass
Trump,
some
yeah.
women.
Tio Leone just like. Okay.
The only
Yes,
woman
I
in
want to cut that one off.
But no, I mean I agree. That's definitely why I give it a 5 or 6. I feel like it's better than average. I recognize all the flaws, but I feel like, again, taking it as it is, it's a very entertaining. It's an entertaining movie for me, and I feel like it's going to be lodged in my head's catalog of movies too. Someday, I'm sure I'll rewatch it, and I'm sure I'm going to talk about it again. I feel like that doesn't necessarily. I guess that's more of like a personal sort of take on it, but I don't know. Casey, rating?
Yeah, 5.5 for same reasons. Pretty much. I think I don't know. My rating scale for movies tends to be a little all over the place, but I think
same.
typically I would say that I rate things up to a 8 on an enjoyment level, and then I'd say or maybe a 7, and then above that it's as an actual film, what is it? It's what sets it apart, and that's why it's not crazy high for me, and it's not that because it's enjoyable, but I do think about for other comedies. I think there are other comedies that kind of have the same level of filmmaking that isn't particularly outstanding, but they are better written, or there are certain better performances in them that I'd probably give a 7. But I think I don't know. I got Popstar, Never Stopping on the mind, I guess. I'm just
that's true.
yeah,
I feel like that has kind of a similar quality to it.
But for me, I think the filmmaking in that movie is actually brilliant.
Yeah,
I think
Popstar they do more.
Popstar is easily an 8 out of 10. I feel like.
It might be higher
we're
for
gonna
me.
do a Popstar discussion. Yeah, I mean
I don't know how it's directly related, but
I
mean, you brought it up, so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me a lot of actually, I'm not really. I don't know, just just a mid 2000s or early 2000s fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
It really has that kind of. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the plot. The plot is on famously in my term, on paper, the Popstar plot, I feel like, is very loose and not necessarily the best, but what makes Popstar so great is the actual comedy in the songs and in the scenarios that the plot finds itself getting into, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense.
I will say, having not spoken to you guys about Popstar, I haven't seen the movie in a while, and I do enjoy the song sequences, but I feel like most of the comedy I got out of it was actually from the scenes in between.
Yeah.
I like the bees.
Yeah. Get the flamethrower.
Or when they're going to the refrigerator sponsorship with what's her name?
Maya Rudolph.
Oh, Sarah Silverman.
Maya Rudolph, yeah.
Also true.
Oh, and dude, what's the other guy's name?
Tim Meadows.
No, the guy who
Seal.
Chris Red.
Michael Bolton.
Hunter. It's Hunter
Justin
or something.
Timberlake.
Hunter the Hungry.
Yeah.
Hunter the Hungry. Hunter
Chris
the
Red.
Hungry.
Yeah, but
I
it's a
love
forest.
that subplot. Yeah, dude, that subplot with Hunter the Hungry is so funny.
Maybe I did. Or I did.
Yeah.
Maybe I did.
I didn't. Or maybe I did.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like somehow, God, I feel like Popstar is just up there with the modern comedy.
The greats.
Yeah.
It literally is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time.
I will. be watching it on my birthday night. We can
Nice.
get on the Discord if you're
Ooh.
down.
I mean, Nabil and I watched it pretty recently. I wouldn't.
We
And
also
here's the thing.
listened
I
to
say
it.
that as if
Yeah.
I say that as if we don't listen to the entire soundtrack in completion multiple times in a single
And
night.
like you wouldn't
4 out
want
of
to
5
watch
days.
it again. Like I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
I could
literally.
watch that movie forever.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
It has to be like the best mockumentary, right? Like
I think so.
Definitely.
it just has to be. Farce of the Penguins.
Hotstar
You guys ever?
2 Filmatic
Let's
podcast.
see, I
Wait, not a
really like,
sequel, but like the sequel to the Filmatic podcast episode.
Just do another podcast on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
I was gonna make that joke earlier about because Nabil said, "I'm sure I'm gonna revisit
Yes.
Tower Heist and talk about it." I was
No,
gonna say
no.
like make another episode on Tower
I
Heist.
meant in real life.
Yeah, I know. That'd be funny though.
Or
You know
maybe
what
Sorry.
You know what I'm excited to see? I kind of actually want to go see it tomorrow night.
Morbius.
Not Morbius. I already saw that.
Are
Obviously,
we doing a Morbius
everyone in the world
episode?
already saw
Let's do it,
Morbius.
bro.
You know, the
I haven't seen it
$230
yet.
trillion box office, dude. Nah, the one I'm talking about is Everything,
Yeah,
Everywhere,
yeah.
All
I wanna
at
see
Once
that.
by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Shiner.
Try to go see it.
It comes
It's not
out
playing
on
anywhere
Friday.
near us.
No,
in
it's coming out. It's
Sarasota.
coming out on Friday, nationwide.
Really,
It should
Nabil?
be in for you this weekend.
Oh, I didn't
So-
see that.
Oh, okay.
I think I might go see that. I kind of want to go see it tomorrow night, honestly, because I hear that is like super good. It's like, you know, it's taking kind of that the big multiverse trend that's in, you know, right now.
Marvel. Yeah.
Fucking Space Jam: A New Legacy. But I hear, you know, this one is supposedly one of the you know, the ones that do it right, and it's I hear it's like, you know, super creative and goes to a bunch of different places. Looks like it has some really good performances in it and some interesting elements for sure.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. And I'd listen to a podcast. Me too.
Should be good.
You know, I haven't even watched the trailer. I really don't know what to expect, but I've only heard good things.
Trailer's
so far.
good. Trailer's
Well,
good.
dude,
Me neither.
I mean, Swiss Army Man is
Yeah.
so boss. I'm sure he can only improve his work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. There's also the Northman coming out later
Yes,
this month.
we need to see that, bro. The
Course,
Lighthouse. After the Lighthouse, I'm in.
Wait.
Dude,
like,
yeah, seeing the
new
Lighthouse
Robert
in theaters is
Eggerson?
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
April 22nd.
Yeah,
Let's
The
see.
Lighthouse. It's the new Robert Eggers movie. Have you seen it?
Dude, it's so crazy. I totally remembered us seeing, like, watching the Lighthouse in the
Yeah.
theaters. Nabil and I went to see it a long time ago. That was like
Yeah,
one
I
of the first
remember.
filmatics.
Yeah, that was probably the third episode or something like that, third or fourth episode. And what I love about that, and I probably told this story before, but I just love that I went in knowing literally nothing beyond that Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson were in this. I didn't know the premise. I didn't know the aspect ratio was going to be different or be black and white, or I didn't know shit. And I don't think anyone else in our theater did either, which is full of fucking like old farts. Some of them, I think a few people walked out.
getting themselves
Yeah.
into.
Yeah, so, God, that was such an immersive experience. And I know The Northman is not a movie necessarily like that, but I'm hoping it can reach the...
Yeah, it looks like it's he's kind of taken a different route. It's
it's
gonna
more
be
of a thriller, yeah.
You know, I think it's gonna have more like I think this one's gonna be more accessible because it looks like it's following kind of more traditional filmmaking techniques and from what the trailer at least has showed me, I think the stories from what it sounds like to me is gonna be more of like a you know, the kind of like journey type like plot that we're all so used to in most of the movies that
but also probably interjecting with sequences that Robert Eggers
still
has
looks
proved
like it has a really like interesting artistic style to it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love his like associations with like mythology and just there's like so much. There's always like so much like of a collective knowledge of just so many different things that kind of source into his movies. There's, he gathers information and he writes his movies. Like, it's almost just like opening up like an old book and just you're really getting like a true passionate like look into the past. That's how I see his movies,
Yeah.
Very like specific tones and like feelings and kind of vibes that he goes for, but he always seems to do it like just the way you would want it to be.
Yeah. That scene of Robert Pattinson beating that bird over that well. It's just
that was a real seagull that he killed on screen.
of course. He's notorious for killing birds.
I watched a movie recently that had a...
No.
That's his allegation.
I watched a movie recently that did have a live bird death in it. And it's called Pink Flamingos by John Waters. He's like pretty notable LGBT like gay director, and this is one of his earlier films about this it's like about this drag star named Divine, who is like supposedly the filthiest lady in her town, and these other two bastards are trying to like outfilth her, and they like it's kind of just like a trash film, but like I don't even know how to explain it without like being able to go super in depth, but it's like it's like if you were to be able to master the art of trash and like make something beautiful out of like everything that is disgusting and wrong in our society and our culture, everything that we deem like kind of like taboo. It's just like a culmination of that, and it's pretty brilliant. I think
sort of like
Casey,
Joker.
I think you'd like it a lot.
Yeah.
I'd totally
I'll
watch
check
it
it
with
out.
you.
Yeah. Be cool.
Yeah. That was my little rant on
There was
Pink
an
Flamingos.
actual bird killed in it.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Yeah, so there's like a sex scene because like it's essentially like porno at certain parts.
Just throw that in there. It's essentially
like literally a chicken a chicken like is kind of being tossed in the middle of this like sexual act, and it literally died apparently while they were shooting it, and you can see it like kind of bleeding on them and stuff, and like the actors kind of thrashing it around. Yeah, it's pretty like sick. I'm kind of making like a bad argument for going to see this movie, but like
Justin's face.
it's sort of like I don't know. There's sort of it's I don't know. I don't know. This is just a weird tangent. Go see Pink Flamingos, I guess, or don't if you don't like animal
Not
cruelty.
to egg you on a
I don't like
tangent.
animal cruelty. I do not support animal cruelty.
Not to egg you on a weirder tangent, but there was a film that I saw you reviewed on Letterboxd that I thought this is what you were talking about. I think you said that Bo recommended it to you or something. It's about car crash porn?
Oh, Crash. Yeah, that's
Can you give since we're just talking about random shit, can you just give a little
David Cronenberg is the director. He's a notable like horror and thriller director. He made The Fly. He made Crash, Scanners, The Brood. All that like usually involves some sort of body horror. In Crash, it's about like this car crash victim who joins a kind of a group of car crash victims who like fuck and like push themselves to the limits with their cars and shit, and it's like some weird like kind of masochistic and like sexual psychosexual kind of story about God knows what, honestly. I don't know.
That's fair.
I have to definitely watch it again to be able to like really say what it's going for, but
I'd love to go down that path and just watch a movie that is like very intense like that.
That's
Talk
like,
about it.
that's probably the most like sexually explicit movie I've seen, like where it's just mostly just
What about Kimmy
sex.
Granger likes it rough?
Well, that's just straight porn, you know.
You've described porn.
We're now just breaching into
Justin, don't make that
territory.
face. You know Kimmy Granger likes
We
it
can bleep
rough.
this, but Justin,
We were
never
on
mind.
the threshold, but now we've crossed it. You know, we're at the holy grail of porn, which is Kimmy Granger likes it rough. Which I'm sure any guy who listens to this video, I'm sure he's seen that or at least like heard of it. You know, through hearsay. You know, through the boys like nudging you. You know, hey, check this one out.
The last 3 minutes, Justin has been silent with the same stone cold face. Okay, Justin, have any thoughts
Well,
about
I
any of
thought
this?
Kimmy Granger would bring it out of you or something.
I've never seen that video.
You've
I've
never
only
seen
heard,
Kimmy Granger likes
I've
it
heard
rough.
her
That's cap.
name in certain circles. I
Bro,
think this one.
It has
I
120
know-
million
This one.
views. It has 120 million views.
Dude,
Sorry.
get on the train, bro.
Let me look it up real quick.
No, that's a different video.
It's gonna be like 30 minutes of your time, bro.
Anyway, I'm still.
Don't worry, most of this will be cut, so you're good. It's just,
I'm not genuinely have never seen it. I couldn't pick Kimmy Granger out of a lineup.
oh my god, it's a shame we can't leave this in.
No, we can, Nabil. What?
I don't know.
Leave it
All I'm gonna say is
It'd be great.
in. What the people are
Maybe just the
here
last
for.
name or the first name, I don't know.
She's not like an
Yeah, who
amateur
cares?
porn star.
We're
It's
not
not
talking about
so we have to censor her name.
Alright, well now I have to. Oh man.
Let me
Okay.
just
Wait,
say.
what did you say?
Nothing.
So- Send me the mega.
Hey,
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Unironically, I was looking at the Crash Wikipedia page. Dude, I'm genuinely. Why do you watch these movies? They don't sound entertaining. They just
I
sound like.
honestly, I gave Crash a 7. I thought it was, thought it was mediocre, not that great.
I don't think you can give shit a 7 on Letterboxd, actually.
Oh, well, it was a 3. Okay, in that case, it was a 3.5 star.
There we go. Thank you.
What would you
I
give
don't
Tower
know.
Heist on Letterboxd, by the way? Just wondering for the conversion.
Well, if it was it would be a 1.5 star, or maybe a
Damn,
2 star.
Damn.
Damn, bro.
Is it out of
That's
5?
fair, honestly. I thought it would be lower for you, honestly. But my Letterboxd thing is so many people have different like scalings with that. It just confuses me, including myself. So
Yeah, mine is, it's I don't put too much thought into it except for my 5 stars. 5
Yeah.
star has to be like, it doesn't necessarily have to even be like a perfect movie. It just has to be something that like when I watch it, it can like really just suck me
Yeah.
in and like
I
give
really
me
feel-
some
yeah.
insane.
I think
just
like a
experience.
5-star definitely like blends obvious like technical prowess. I think that's a big one in terms of
Yeah,
objectivity.
definitely.
But like obviously number one is like personal, like fucking preference, of course. What's one 5-star movie that you've given? 1 5-star rating you've given?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nice.
My favorite horror movie.
Respect.
Synecdoche, New York, bro.
I need to rewatch that.
Great movie.
I would almost give Adaptation a 5-star.
I think I also gave Adaptation a 5-star. Charlie
And
Kaufman.
being John Malkovich.
Yeah, I mean, I watched all of Charlie Kaufman's movies. I don't know if you've seen the newest one, Thinking of Ending Things.
Yeah.
Really good.
I keep starting it and I like.
It's kind of.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of his movies are you kind of gotta like
I don't know, I
Synecdoche,
feel
New
like-
York. I don't know Synecdoche,
Yeah,
New
that
York.
one's tough,
I
dude.
can't bring myself to watch that again. It was fucking great, and like it's literally one of my favorite movies ever. And I don't
I
know
watched
how I can.
Probably like 15 years old, and I just like
Yeah,
I don't know.
you should
It's just like,
definitely.
what the hell am I watching?
I watched it and just like stopped for like an hour last year. It was great. Anybody who wants to watch a very depressing movie, but that is like pretty beautiful also.
Dude,
Cinematic in New York.
I'll always give Koyaanisqatsi
Oh
5
my
star.
god. Koyaanisqatsi's a 5-star, no doubt.
Haven't seen it.
Every time I watch
Should
that
watch
movie,
it.
it's fucking
Justin, you got a
5
5-star
star.
movie? You got a 5-star movie?
Horton Hears a Who, 2008. Blue
2008?
Sky. Yeah.
Hmm.
That one is that's a classic. Not a 5-star, that's a joke. The reason I brought it up, I've just been thinking about it for like the past hour, ever since Evan was talking about when he was sick in his parents' bed watching Meet Dave.
Dave.
That's the movie I saw sick in my parents' bed, was Horton Hears a Who.
Dude.
Nice.
Specifically, I just remember the scene where Horton is being chased by like an army of monkeys, and they have the big buff monkey who like uses his armpits to machine gun bananas
Yeah,
by
I
like
remember
squeezing
that.
it out of the peel.
Oh my god. I
Anyway,
have to rewatch that, bro. Yeah.
that's obviously not. If I had to give a 5-star,
Doctor Strangelove, that's another 5
Dare
star.
I-
Yeah.
dare I
Sorry.
unironically say pop star?
Hmm.
I don't know.
I would respect the shit out of that.
I would respect the shit out of that
stars?
also. It's a 4.5 for me.
Yeah, same.
I know Evan disagrees with this, but I'm gonna say Swiss Army Man is a 5.
You know, I actually haven't seen
I
all
fuck
of it.
with
I've
that.
only seen parts of it.
I need to rewatch it. I haven't
When I
seen
first
it in a while.
saw it, I gave Nightcrawler a 5 out of 5.
Nightcrawler is great.
I do need to rewatch it. It's been years. That one was great though. Nice Guys, dude. Nice Guys is so reliable. You can always enjoy
Yes,
watching
dude,
Nice
Nice
Guys.
Guys is awesome.
Nice Guys, is that the one with Ryan
Russell.
Gosling?
Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe.
It was
Yeah.
okay.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Sorry.
Dude, that's all.
Interesting.
That'll always be like my favorite action movie, I think.
Anybody seen The Departed?
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good one.
that's probably a
I feel like
5-star
that's a
for me.
5-star, yeah.
Really
Great
interesting.
movie. My
Oh,
top
dude,
5 Martin Scorsese, I think.
I have a bunch. I'm looking at my list right now. Like, if you want, I can just read them all.
I mean, are there a lot?
No, not too many.
Fine, go ahead. At this
All
point.
right, okay. So we got Psycho by Hitchcock. You know,
Okay.
Barry Lyndon, Stanley Kubrick. I put The Social Network as a 5-star. I guess. I mean, shit. I guess. Yeah. I like that movie a lot. That's a fun movie. Pretty gripping. There Will Be Blood.
Oh, yeah.
That one's pretty great.
I agree with that.
Magnolia, also by Paul Thomas Anderson. That's an underrated one. I feel like not many people see that out of his filmography, but I think that's my favorite. This one's probably more of a nostalgia pick, but I gave Superbad a 5-star. Apparently, I don't know if I would still give it that, but I mean that one was, that one was and is still pretty classic comedy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Monsters Inc., Florida Project.
Florida Projects.
Dude, I just watched Monsters Inc. last night. That's a great one. No, seriously, it like.
Yeah, I love Monsters Inc. Dude.
Definitely my favorite Pixar, I'd say.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
It's insane. Like watching it back, it just holds up so well.
Put the thing back where it came from.
So happy.
Let's see. Fargo,
I-
Jurassic Park, dude.
Are we going to end this soon? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I gotta piss
Yeah.
real bad.
Yeah.
Do it,
Hear
Evan
that,
did.
everybody out there?
Do what Evan did at 12:58 a.m.
Yeah.
I said
Come on.
BRB pissing, and then
Yeah.
And then
turned
you
off my
piss.
camera. I want to go pee.
Well, I don't want to leave if we're close to it.
All right, if you could hold it, let's wrap this up.
I don't know why I'm reading up. Okay.
We got there.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
Yeah, so those were some of my
Good,
finds. Yeah,
I
That'll
enjoyed
give
it.
you a taste.
Little taste of things to come, I'd say.
Some of you dedicated viewers, can you do a calculation and tell us what % of this podcast was actually about Tower Heist?
All right. I feel like that's the magic of Filmatic.
It
All
is
right.
the magic of
The
Filmatic.
magic.
What really? What more do we?
I didn't like that
talk
tone.
about? Tower Heist. What more is there to see?
Oh,
Tone Master?
no.
Tower Heist. If you haven't seen it,
Tone.
Yeah, true. Tony?
Tony Takatani.
If you haven't watched Tower Heist, you're saying, and have
If you-
still watched 2
you're
hours of a filmatic podcast about Tower Heist.
yeah, only of which 75% was about Tower Heist, then I recommend watching Tower Heist. If you think this podcast should be put to an abrupt stop, and yeah, no, seriously, if you think that we should stop making this podcast, please comment that below, and I'll throw in the Suicide
comments start flooding in, dude.
Oh my god,
We go viral.
number 4 trending on YouTube. Realistic, because I made it number 4. I recommend. Each and every one of you. Do you recommend Tower Heist?
Yeah, sure.
I recommend it.
It depends. Would I recommend it to someone to watch by themselves? Nah, I don't think so.
Fair.
Okay, so you're saying watch it with a friend.
You know what? I'm
I
just
agree.
gonna say flat out no. I wouldn't recommend
I
it.
respect the conviction.
I watched it by myself.
True.
But
Because
you were
my
like
audio-
technically.
My audio was
Amongst us.
working, so I wasn't in the call with you guys. I just watched it by myself, and then we talked about it after.
Fair.
All right. Well, there you go. We've talked about Tower Heist. There's going to be tons of filmatic to come. We're going to be talking about The French Dispatch. We're going to be hopefully talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once and The Northman. We're going to be talking about Morbius. I don't know. Maybe. But we'll see.
There's going to be
If
a
it's-
Wild West episode.
When it comes out on Disney Plus, we will be talking about Morbius.
Plus, Jesus.
I'm down to
Um,
watch Italian subtitles hard-coded cam of Morbius.
Yeah.
We will
And
be talking about Kimmy Granger likes it rough.
God, dude.
In depth. We're doing a shot analysis of the opening scene in which Chad White is approached by Kimmy Granger, who asks
Chad
if
White.
Chad's
Okay, you know his
sister
name
is
is
home.
Chad White. That's kind of sus because I did not know his name was Chad White.
Why
Chad
did I
says-
know this, one specific video?
It has
It's iconic. It is iconic.
130 million views.
Because you look up most viewed videos and it's always number one.
Unironically, all
It's
It's
stupid
literally
jokes.
Kim
I'm
Kardashian's
literally
sex
looking
tape.
this up
Kimmy
right
Granger likes it
now.
rough.
Listen, all stupid jokes about this aside, Justin is unironically the first person I've heard of to not know about this
I
video.
know. I literally
Yeah, like
brought it
unironic.
I brought it up because I thought, in reference to you getting that joke, because I thought it would bring you out of, the...
Justin's the porn guy. He
haze.
knows all the
But
jokes.
I
It only has 120 million. It's not even in the top. There are 3 above it.
what's above it, Justin?
Playing a game with my hot stepsister, Anastasia Knight. Horny guy fucked his stepmom. And Kim Kardashian's sex tape with Ray J Part 1.
Okay.
Then it's Kimmy Granger likes it rough.
Who-
Then Kim Kardashian
Times
Part
of
2.
Jane.
Who's featured in the other two videos?
I told you, Anastasia Knight. And then the second one is apparently someone, Mandy Flores.
I don't even know either of those people. Now I feel like a
Well, the
fool.
first one's Alex
Now
Adams.
I know what I'm
I'm
doing
sure
after
you
this
know him.
podcast
Of
is
course
over.
we know
And
Alex
on that note,
God damn.
We should just start a porn podcast.
porn-matic, bro.
I really hope that
Porn
video
addict.
cameras aren't on for that one.
Porn addict.
Porn.
Holy shit, I'm gonna piss myself. Can we stop?
Alright, guys.
I'm literally-
This is the iconic
I'm
part where
saying
you
I'm
plug your own.
laughing so hard, I just felt piss come out. so that's
I'm
where
looking
I'm
at-
Yo, we had our first piss on Filmatic.
Is this a live piss
Can you
take?
show us?
Actually,
the
that's not true,
progress?
bro. During the 4-hour Shrek episode, things had to be done.
Some pissisms.
That was the joke.
On that note, please.
Alright, guys.
Alright.
Okay, so
And Casey.
I wasn't ready, but okay.
I just dead named myself. I'm really proud of that joke. Alright.
Can I?
I am
just wanted-
Casey, and I have been on the podcast.
See ya. Go piss. All right. So what I was gonna say, just to wrap it up for the
Yeah, we
last
should
minute.
probably finish our discussion on Tower Heist.
We're talking about Tower Heist?
What is going on? Oh my god. Never mind.
Gaslighting, you know.
All I was gonna say is Summer of Stiller is coming soon.
There it is.
Summer of Stiller?
Yeah.
Reference, by the way.
Dude, that really popped up with that.
Justin, can you
Yeah.
please give us a
Dracula,
rundown of Summer of Stiller?
Okay, guys. You already know what's coming up. It's April. Summer's just around the corner. It's knocking at your door. And the thing that you guys need to realize is it's the Summer of Stiller. You've heard of the Summer of George. Get ready, because come at you. We're doing a Night at the Museum episode. We're doing
Got him.
Flirting with Disaster. Along Came Polly. We're going to be doing other classics, such as Something About Mary, Dodgeball. What
We're
about,
also going to be doing Ben Stiller directed movies, The Cable Guy,
True.
starring Jim
True.
Carrey
Oh.
and Matthew Broderick.
Yes, a
Um,
classic.
Basically, the point is, let me just say this.
Heartbreak
This
Kid.
summer, you're going to be getting a special season of Filmatic called The Summer of Stiller, and each episode, as Justin described, will be different sets of Ben Stiller movies. And I hope that someone out there finds this exciting, or possibly
I'm
listen.
really
This
excited
is how
to be on. I think
Filmatic
it'll.
dies.
It's already dead.
Well,
If you
just
just
look forward to the.
rebrand as a exclusively Ben Stiller podcast, your really
Stiller
niche
Matic.
market, and then those fucks
True.
with the
could
Filmatic
work.
YouTube channel can't steal that from you.
Whoa.
Alright?
Whoa. Shout out to
Hey,
Filmatic
they're friends of the
channel.
podcast.
No, I'm firing
right?
shots, bro. Fuck them.
As I said
Oh,
earlier,
motherfucker. My 4-4. Make sure your kids don't grow, motherfucker.
the
Thank you for
views of
appropriating that
Casey
line. Yeah,
do not represent views of Filmatic or Nabil Sharif.
thank you. You guys think this is our worst episode yet?
I think it might be
On the
the most
contrary.
chaotic, least relevant episode.
And
Yeah.
really, if you really
Like-
think about it, isn't that what Tower Heist is all about?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
I think.
being irrelevant
the-
and chaotic.
It's not what Filmatic's all about.
Yeah.
Let me just say, Summer Stiller being capped off with an absolutely
The
season-ending,
most requested episode.
an explosive finale.
Madagascar.
The Madagascar episode.
Madagascar episode.
All three?
Yes, all three Penguins of Madagascar.
Penguins TV show?
No.
TV shows aren't filmed, by the way.
Selected
This isn't-
clips from the Penguins TV show and the King Julian
No
TV
Yeah,
show.
but this-
way, bro.
It's not television-matic, alright?
There's going to be other, similar to the Shrek episode, there's going to be smaller pieces of
Shorts.
media will consume, the shorts, televisional promotional content. I won't say anything more about that.
Dude,
I
Oh my
can't
God.
believe we're getting our first Noah Baumbach film on fucking Filmatic, and it's Madagascar 3. I hate you guys. I hate
Hey,
you.
no,
story
no, it's
wasn't that
probably
great,
not
but
true.
I've been
Because we might have something else, Meyerowitz stories or something,
Oh,
you know,
true.
for the Summer of Stiller before we get to Madagascar. So there could be another
Wow,
Noah
great
Baumbach.
point. Great point.
That sounds so sarcastic. Wow, great point.
that's
Nice.
this whole episode. It's just, alright. Summer of Stiller coming soon, guys. There's a lot to look forward to for Filmatic. And we'll let Casey go and relieve themselves. So,
Yeah, I gotta
there you go. Thanks for... Yep.
Okay.
Are we done?
Are we cutting it? Are we cutting it here?
I was going to
Are
do
we
it one by
cutting
one
it
sign
here?
off. Just say
Are
your
we-
names.
Casey.
Evan.
Dustin.
And the bill. And I'm so sorry that I created this. And
Listen to King
my
Rage.
life is worth nothing. See you next time.